little overly generous, because his take was that even involuntarily routed units could move during their activation. And I think as we were reading the rules, and Matthew kind of himself was a little waffly about whether that was what the original rule had intended or not. I don't know. David and I are both like, no, it didn't. That's not what it was saying. So I don't know. We'll
Yeah,
see.
I think that would be a bit of a stretch. So, but I mean, we at least we're very firm that with the voluntary route rules, you should be moving during both the activation phase and the routing
Right.
phase.
Right.
And this is what I'd sent a letter or I emailed, maybe it went to both of you, I don't know, but basically just saying, hey, based on what Paul had said, if you're covering 12 hexes in a 20-minute period, that's 36 hexes in an hour, which is about 2 miles. So
Right.
could these guys hoof it 2 miles in an hour? Yeah, I think they probably could. Since they're not really keeping formation, they're just kind of like, okay, we're taking a walk through the woods this way, and
Oh,
it's all
I
kind of
mean,
loose, and
you
so
could imagine certain terrain types where that would be difficult to maintain a 2 mile an hour pace. But on
right.
the other hand, there's no 36 hexes on the board that would consist of nothing but this bad terrain,
Yeah, yeah,
right? So, so, so if you take it as a blended average, yeah, I mean, it's not hard to go 2 miles an hour.
yeah. No, no.
In fact, actually, I personally find it hard to go only 2 miles an hour.
Well, and this brought up an interesting point that David had fired back saying, well, why is it that routed units move so little? Why aren't they moving more?
By contrast,
By
yeah.
contrast.
I
And I
think the
think
whole
that
thing would be,
is yeah, and I
yeah.
think that is a legitimate point, um, because what does it mean for them to be routed in that context,
Right.
type of a thing versus a voluntary versus involuntary. I know with some of the games I've played, like some of the early Labatai rule sets had where if you're routed, your unit's moving 50% faster than its printed movement value. So that would mean that, say
Right.
you've got a printed movement value of 6, well, now you're moving
Right.
9. So it kind
Yeah.
of simulates the fact that, oh, okay, because it's just this big mass of people, a big mob of people running towards the rear of their lines, they're moving a little
Yeah, and again,
faster.
they're not trying to maintain formation,
Yeah.
and they're motivated to get the hell away. And so, certainly, once they kind of reach a certain amount of distance, isn't there in some Labatai rule sets that once you get to a certain distance away from the enemy, you stop route
Yep, yep. You
retreating?
don't have to keep moving. Yeah, you basically
Right.
move into woods or a dwelling, and then you try to
Right.
recover, and you don't have to keep going unless there's an enemy that gets within, say, 15 hexes of you, and then you've got to run
Right.
some
Then you got
more,
to
kind of
keep
a thing.
moving.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, it's an interesting. And then, of course, Ed Wimble pipes up in the Consim World thread and talks about how, usually once the American troops ran, you wouldn't see them until that night. They were just gone.
yeah,
Rallying wasn't something that happened very much, at least until von Steuben got at them and got them a little bit better organized on the field. Um,
but
yeah,
that's a concept too that other games have dealt with differently. So there's somewhere after you route or you get to a certain point, you're just removed from play, or they take you off the map
oh, yeah.
entirely until so like that Albuera game that we played, the fixed bayonets game we played at Consim.
Uh huh.
It had that concept where okay, you route, you take the unit off the map, and it goes
Right.
into a separate box until it rallies.
Yeah.
So it's not like cluttering up the battlefield, and you gotta run it
Right. I
around or
think
something like that.
Berg's Glory system from the American Civil War does that. Units just disappear after they've taken a certain amount of abuse.
Yeah.
And then they can be rallied. They may or may not be rallied, but they can be rallied, and then presumably you place them somewhere towards the rear. And yeah, on the one hand, you could say, well, that's kind of a little design for effect thing. Why am I tracing with great detail where this mob of people are going? And maybe it's not even a mob, right? Maybe they've
Right.
scattered and they're not even in one hex anymore. So why am I keeping track of that? On the other hand, it just, I don't know, there's something just that seems a little bizarre about that just disappears and then just reappears. It's like,
Yeah.
what? So, but I get it. I mean, it is a way of dealing with the problem.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, and I know with some games I played way back in the day, if they would route, they were gone. They'd gone for the rest of the game. And there's
well,
even some scenarios. I think with some of the more recent Labatai ones where if they route, um, like I think Linny has a scenario where you're just kind of fighting in the Saint Amans, and if the Prussians route, you just take them off the map, kind of a thing.
okay.
So a couple of
Well,
different ways, but I
especially
mean
if
that's
it's if it's the Landwehr,
hmm
if it's the Third Corps, forget it,
yeah.
right? they're, they're they're not stopping.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's an interesting one. Um, I can see merit to different approaches. I guess if you're going to go as crunchy and granular as this system, then it kind of makes sense that you're going to keep track of things even when you've gone to the point of chaos. You're still going to keep track of it because by golly, this is a crunchy granular system.
Yeah.
Other systems, I mean, Glory was really intended to be a lightweight version of American Civil War, unlike his great battles of the American Civil War, like Albert writes for.
Right.
So again, it kind of makes sense that you'd say, look, rather than write 2 pages of rules about routing, just take the unit off the board and
Yeah.
then in the rally phase, see if it comes back.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, that's actually kind of a nice simplification. And is it close enough? Well, I don't know, maybe. Yeah. I really
Oh,
don't know how often units would, take enough abuse to be out of it and yet come back in the same day. I will recall. Did any of you guys play the old SPI Blue and the Gray, the little folio games?
it sounds familiar, but it would have been a
Oh,
long time ago in a
long time ago.
galaxy
Well,
far,
yeah, of
far
course these
away.
were
Yeah.
these were all from the 70s, for goodness
Yeah.
sakes. But they were great because they were half-size maps and they were simple rules. And of course, now I can't stand to play them anymore because they don't feel remotely like the Civil War to me. But whatever. At the time when I was a kid, I enjoyed them. And some of the games had what they called the attacker effectiveness rule.
Hmm.
And what it basically said is if you conduct an attack and you get an attacker retreat result, then I think you like flip the unit over because there were no markers. You flip the unit over, and for the rest of the day, it couldn't attack.
Hmm.
And the truth is especially at 1-to-1 and 2-to-1, it's mostly retreat results. I mean,
Right.
some defender retreat, some attacker retreat. There are no just push results. So there's always something happening. So I'm going from memory, but like 1-to-1 odds was like a 50-50 chance of getting an attacker retreat result. And if you did that the first turn of the morning, that unit's done for the day. And I'm like, really? And again, I don't know the history. I don't.
Right.
But it does seem a little strange that you get repulsed and that's it, you're done. And so some of the games where they suggested you play with attacker effectiveness, I was just like, I don't think so. I don't think I'm going to be able to do that. It didn't smell right to me, but again, who knows?
So my
All
question
right.
is, what do we want to try to do here with these units that voluntarily routed, as
Right.
far as trying to reconcile what we should have done with them versus what we did do with them?
Exactly. So, do we continue playing with the rules as we have been playing them just to try to be consistent, or do we suddenly change the reality and go with the rules as we now understand them. And I could see arguments made for either one.
I personally think we should play with the rules that we know were correct. So the idea would be, let's let you retreat these guys another, I don't know what, 8, 10, 12, I don't know, however many hexes to kind of
No,
get
no,
them
no.
where they would be, right?
That's actually a third option that I wasn't considering, and that is trying to make a change on the field as it stands. I wouldn't feel comfortable doing that.
Okay. Well, I was giving
So
you an
to me,
opportunity.
no, 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 no. To me, what's done is done,
Okay.
and there's lots of things have happened, but you know what? This is very much something I learned from this system, and that is that special results are basically breaking the rules. If you're playing solo and
Right.
you make a mistake, you go, oh, you don't catch it until it's too late to undo it. You just go, well, I guess that was just a special event that wasn't on the table,
Right.
and just keep going. And it's like, yeah, that's just how the system works. So
Well,
this is a
then
pretty
then
egregious.
I'm yeah, then I'm in favor of, from here going forward, the we apply the voluntary, route rule as it's been described to
As we
us,
now understand
as we
it.
now understand it from the official game designers, playtesters, etc., who are sort of gurus in this regard. I mean,
And
that's
I second that.
okay. So unless Michael insists on playing some other way, I
Well, no, because I already have enough that any L I get here is going to have an asterisk next to it. Any
right.
W you guys get is going to have an asterisk next to it. So I've already won as far as I'm concerned. So, you know, it's all good now.
Well, that's fine. I mean, and part of this, to be honest with you, Michael, is to teach and for both David and I to learn this system better. For my
Sure.
Christmas present, I ordered myself Prague and Lobsitz, and
Oh,
so those showed
wow.
up, and so I was admiring the maps, and
Oh, yeah.
yeah. So you've done your job of convincing me that there's more to this game system that
Excellent.
meets the eye, and
Welcome to the
it's really
dark
good.
side. We have cookies.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So
exactly. Yeah. Well, that's great. No, I think that's probably the best way to deal with it. Just what's done is done. We'll move on playing the game properly. And, I had a situation. I was playing a solitaire game. It was one of Zucker's games. It was um, Abensberg Ekmol.
okay.
So from the 1809 campaign, I think.
Yes,
Um,
it's 1809.
yeah, and I misunderstood a rule, and I was allowing uh, Davu to move faster than he should have, considering that I had rolled rain
Ah,
as the weather,
right.
and I was operating under the assumption that roads were paved, and somebody points out on Board Game Geek, it's like there were no paved roads in these days.
Yeah.
Like there just were none, and I was like, oh, oh yeah, I guess you're right. And so I just decided, well, you know what? This map, it was a two map game.
Right.
At and what are Zucker's games?
They're the operational studies
No,
group.
no, I'm just trying to remember like how big the hexes are. Are they?
Oh,
I think 500
they're
yards. I
yeah,
think,
something
aren't
like
they?
that. They're pretty good size. Yeah.
So this was like I don't know, a 20 by 20 kilometer map,
Right.
and I'm like, well, who's to say it was raining on this side of the map and not this side? I mean, I could believe that, right? So I just said, you know what? That's what it was.
There you
Now, if
go.
I roll weather again, it will be raining over there too, and Davu's cavalry and his artillery will be slowed down. But in the meantime, what's done is done.
There
Just
you
keep
go.
going.
All
So
right, and on that happy note, let's roll some dice and see what we can
yeah, let's
destroy.
see what we got. what do we got here? It is 6:20. Is that right?
Yes, it is the 6:20 turn.
Okay, we're at the top of the 6:20 turn, and so yeah, there's no army morale phase, and so we just go right on to initiative determination, and memory serves, you guys get a +1.
That's correct.
We don't have any special results or anything to affect that, so we should be just good to go with a +1. Um, everybody, everybody good with all that?
That's good.
Yeah.
All right.
Here I am.
Commander Hal, why don't you go ahead and roll first?
Chuck some dice.
See what we get.
Oh, me?
Yes.
Okay.
Who, me?
You're the ranking
Michael
commander
usually
here.
Oh, Michael usually leads off, but okay.
It is, to be fair, it's usually me. I don't have the patience for it. But all right. Well,
Right off the
then
bat, we've
that
done something
that is a
exciting.
moving the end turn marker and a activation for the crown forces.
All right. So, what do you
I
want
will
to
try, and I'm going to activate the Guard Corps
do? Okay.
or Brigade or whatever that is now. Plus whatever independent are down there with
I
him.
think he's a 6.
Let's see. Do I want to do the other? Yes, he is. Do I want to do all my other independent? Yeah, I might as well do them all too.
I'm sorry. Who's a 6?
All
I don't.
This guy, I think, for rolling for initiative.
I
Matthew?
just okay.
Yeah.
Got it. No problem. I just didn't understand what the 6 was referring to, but I get it. Yep.
So him, I'm going to activate him plus his independent down there, and then I'm going to also activate the independent all up here where I captured your artillery there. So all those guys up there, they are. With,
Okay. Yep.
they're in range of Howl there, so they're automatically. They don't have to.
They would not need to roll individually because all of them are in reach of Hal.
Right. But the Guard Brigade needs to, and so one die. Let's see, and he's
that is almost certainly not going to do it. Okay.
So he can still. They can all move, right? They just can't
So,
attack.
yes. So let's be clear. When a combat leader is out of command, you've got the following movement segment restrictions. 1, they can't rapid march. I don't think they were allowed to rapid march anyway.
No, they were not.
They're not allowed to enter an enemy zone of control unless it already began adjacent to that zone of control and has sufficient movement points to enter the hex. A unit that begins its movement segment in an EZOC can make a facing or formation change in the EZOC or exit 1 hex out of the EZOC. In either case, you got to have enough movement points to do it, and that's it. That's really the effect. Now, curious thing to me, I'm kind of pondering this a little bit. An activated independent unit that cannot trace an LOC from an activated command leader, special leader, or any army wing leader makes a unit initiative die roll to attempt to place itself in command. I'm thinking that the guys down next to Matthew, the independent units, are going to need to roll to put themselves in command because they can't trace command to him because he's out of command. Does that make sense? Right. Whereas the guys up with Howe, that's automatic. Because of course Howe's in command.
Right.
And he's the army leader.
Yeah.
But this leader here is out of command himself, so no one can trace command to him. Therefore, any independent units that are down there are going to have to roll to activate themselves.
Except for the one that's underneath the commander.
Well, what about this guy? He's part of the guards.
Right. So he is.
Yeah.
So he is.
It's just these 2 grenadier battalions.
Yes,
This is the guard one too.
Oh, so that's the only independent grenadier, I guess, right?
There's an independent one here, but he's underneath him.
Oh, he's stacked with the leader. Okay.
But again, the leader is himself out of command. So you can't trace command to a guy who's out of command.
As an
So I think
independent unit.
yes, exactly. Well,
Okay.
really anybody, right?
Well, you can just, I mean, you can still, if you, yeah, just roll to see if they get it, and
Oh,
even if they're out of command, they can change facing, right?
yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, they can do stuff.
Yeah,
I'm just. It doesn't make sense to me that independent units can magically be in command if the way they're trying to get themselves in command is to go to a leader who failed his command role.
right.
The units in his own organization are suffering from him being out of command. So it
Right.
doesn't make sense that they're magically in command. So
Yeah.
they need to roll.
Uh, but
And that's just
I have a problem with this one, just because there are things. I don't know what all the rules are for when you're stacked with a independent one, but whatever.
Yeah,
what
I just don't.
What
I
is
don't
that?
know.
Read that
No,
rule.
yeah.
What was that
Okay.
rule number?
All right. Let me read the
I
rule
just
for
wanna-
you. No, it's fine. Not a
What-
problem at all. We're in the standard rules. We're on page 9. It is 7.4 Charlie.
7.4.
Yeah, and the note under it, I think, is really where it becomes clear.
Well, okay, but it says activated command leader. This
I
is
see
the-
that, but then
that
look
is
at the note.
It's still an activated command. Okay. Into
The note says
it's good.
independent units can get 2 opportunities to be in command. For example, an independent unit is activated with a command, and the command leader has no LOC from the Army leader. That's exactly the circumstance we have here. If the command leader succeeds with his leadership initiative attempt, the independent unit is in command if it's within the leader's LOC. However, if the leader fails the attempt, the independent unit still makes a unit initiative attempt.
That's pretty clear to me.
Okay. So does he get the leader benefit?
I don't see any reason why not. I don't really know.
Why wouldn't he? He's stacked.
I mean, I don't even know if there is a leadership benefit for this.
All right. So bump.
But
Yeah.
why don't you just roll the dice and we'll see what happens?
On
83. That's going to pass.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's probably not.
That's probably not going to pass.
Which he's
No.
21.
Yeah.
No. All right.
Oh, he's
So
limited to half movement, right?
No. Yeah, let's take a look here. So he's out of command. Yes. Yes. So key is affected by 7.6D, whereas the other one is only affected by. Well, the other one's actually not affected by anything. He can act any way he wants. The units that are actually members of the guards are all affected by 7.6C. So we really have 3 different scenarios here. All the guard units are affected by 7.6C. The grenadier who's out of command is affected by 7.6D, and the grenadier who's stacked with Matthew is perfectly ordinary. In his, there are no exceptional limitations there. Good times, huh?
Who's what?
Okay, here we go.
This guy here is the only one who's got all his full regular movement.
Well, no, but they all have their regular full movement. Remember, the limitations are just you can't move into an enemy zone of control. Of course, there are no enemy zones of control around here because these are all routed units.
Right.
You can't rapid march. I don't think any of them are allowed to rapid march anyway because
Anyway,
of a special rule of the
yep.
scenario, right? Um, so really, it's a pretty lightweight problem. Um, uh, Under other scenarios, under other circumstances, that would be more problem. But because
Right.
you're around a bunch of routed units, it doesn't really change much.
So
This
this
guy,
one is
however,
halved.
is half movement
Right.
because he failed twice effectively.
Right.
Yeah. All right.
All right. So first things first, there's no disorder to recover from.
That
It
I'm
doesn't look
aware
like
of.
there's any fire combat because they're all facing the wrong way. So now movement.
All right. So we'll start with this one here. He's going to.
Remember, every time you change facing, you got to do a disorder check because you're in attack column.
All right. So I'm going to change to. And it's 1 point, right, to regular movement column?
To regular march column? That's a great question. I don't know. Looking it up right now. Looking through the charts and charts and charts and charts here. Where are the charts? All right, attack column. Here we go. Where's attack column? There we go.
There's attack.
Attack column to march column is 1 movement point as long as you're in clear terrain. Yeah.
And everybody here's in clear. All right. So if I go.
Now I'm guessing. I'm trying to figure out what does that mean for your facing though.
I believe you can face into either one of your front facing hexes.
Yeah, I'd be a lot more comfortable with that being the case. So yeah, that works for me.
So so it would go into movement column.
All right, so that's
One.
1 movement point there. Take the attack column marker off him, I guess. There we go.
And we would go 2, 3, and
Okay.
and I will go back to attack column. 4.
Okay.
They just don't have something where you could about face, but then you'd have to make a disorder check. Is that
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah,
As if this is any easier.
well, it is kind of funny because the usual about face rule is it just consumes all of your movement, which is kind of effectively what just happened.
Yeah.
He just did it in the form of leaving attack column, so he didn't have to worry about all the die rolls.
The disorder checks, right? So
Yeah. All right, that makes sense to me.
and okay, so this guy here.
Actually, you know what? I'm gonna do this right quick. Boom, there.
What did you do?
And I just took the moved markers off of everything, and I'm moving that one guy, so he's the only one with a moved marker on him because he's the only one who's moved this turn.
All right, so this one I'm basically going to do the same thing.
Makes sense.
So instead of
And since there's nothing but routed units around you, nobody's going to do anything about it. So
this one, let's see. Now this one's an attack, so he can go. Yeah, the same, and put just to there, which should end up being about 3 movement points. And
1, 2, 3. Yes.
the last one, I am not going to do. Okay, finish moving those 4. Keep the other one just the way he is.
Now he's in March column. Does he have a zone of influence?
Yeah, he's still got his.
Just the 1 hex in
It's
front of
that
him.
one here.
Okay.
Yep. Yep.
And I don't gain anything by adding that into it or adding that hex
Right.
into it. So I'll keep it in that. All right, so now the other guys here. All right, so what do we got here? We got a bunch in skirmish. All right, coming out of skirmish was 1, right?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
why are you coming out of skirmish? We did this 2 weeks ago where you
You can
realize
move
that.
better and faster in skirmish order.
Yeah. So, I mean, am I remembering the conversation correctly?
Yeah.
That you're better off just staying in skirmish. Although, I mean, you got to remember to be within 2 hexes of a formed unit by the end of the turn. But
Right, that's the point. I'm trying to. Uh, what if the. All right, well, so I have to go into road. I have to be in March, right?
yep, that's right.
And let's see, I'm in line with a bunch of those. One next line, so the line to the right is the way to go. All right, so there's the damn too many tables. Where's the movement table? Whatever. That's in the terrain effect. That's gonna be 1 to there, 1 more to. All right. And skirmishers can go. Let's see. Skirmish clear is half. It's half. Village is 1. Woods are 1. They don't really have any other modifiers in it. So 1, 2, 3, 5. Oh, he's facing that way. All right. 1/2. 1.5. 2, 3, 4, or 3.5. This one's gonna go 1/2. 1, 2, 3, 4. Uh, 1.5, 2.5, 3, 4. skirmishers can go through formed, right?
Yes, I think so. I don't think skirmishers are subject to pass through.
Yeah, they shouldn't be since they're
No, I don't think they are. I think I will. I feel pretty confident in that.
There. Well, I probably could get there the other way too. So, but all right. Um, and okay, so this one is going. All right. Line two.
Yeah, I found the rule that said so. I knew it had to be there. It just makes me feel happy to find it.
Which rule was this, Michael?
The rule that specifically said that pass-through doesn't apply to skirmishers.
Oh,
It is 10.7b, number 2. When a skirmisher unit, infantry, or cavalry enters and exits a friendly occupied hex, regardless of the non-moving unit's type, formation, facing, etc., it's not considered to be a pass-through and does not require a disorder check.
All right. So this guy here, he's going into march column. That should be 1 going that way. And then into road column. And does he does he align with the road when he does that?
Seems
I
like.
think so.
Yeah.
I mean, that's certainly what I did with those guys down south when I was
I think
moving them.
that, yeah, I was thinking. And then that's so 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Let's go 2 there. Oh, wait a minute. Why not?
Yeah, you've
I got an
put
extra
an
road column.
attack marker on him.
Oh, is that what? Okay, I must have
Attack
hit
column
something.
marker. Yeah. Someone in the
I was.
chat is
I'm
asking,
sorry.
Michael, can you only go in road column if you're on the road? So
Whoops.
can you be in road column and not be on the road?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay.
The only difference is that I think you only gain the benefit of not having to change facing if you are actually following a road.
Right.
I don't think you get free facing changes if you're off road, even if you're in road column.
Right.
Well, and
Yeah,
I would
I'd have to.
imagine that you'd have to pay for all the train costs like you normally would.
Oh yeah,
in the
yeah.
road.
Obviously, you're paying the regular march column cost.
Right.
Um,
But then when you
and
come onto
having
the and then when you come onto the road, then you get the benefit without having to
then
change
you can
formation.
start
Okay.
exactly right. And I guess yeah, I mean it's a little bit of a specialty use, but you know maybe if you're transiting from one road to another, maybe it's just cleaner just to stay in road column,
Right.
as you say, just to pick up the other road.
Yeah.
As we know, because we looked at the rules, we after the end turn marker has been hit, you can only move units that are not only in road column but do all their movement on a road.
Ah.
So that's a specific thing that we found 2 weeks ago, I guess. We looked it up.
So
And
you couldn't fudge things by having units in road column
in road column and then
going
march cross country.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that
As a way of
wouldn't be
getting around the
permitted.
end of the turn.
Exactly.
Right.
A limited activation wouldn't permit that.
Right. So the last guy here, 1, 2, 3, and then into road column. So he. Whoops. All right, that's as far as he goes. That's the end of my movement, I believe. Let's flip over
Good
this
times.
Oh. And
All right. Michael, it's your turn to throw the dice.
Oh my gosh. What'll I do? I hardly know how to act.
You click a button. Oh my
Oh no! Why did you let me do this?
It would have happened anyway.
Oh, I guess. Okay.
all right. Oh boy.
Okay.
You're going
So
full on, aren't you here?
yeah, I don't
Don't mess
I
around.
don't know. No, if I'm going to roll a special result, I'm rolling the monster special result. All right. So this is under Rule 6.2a in the special rules,
Right.
and it is an Army morale special event, which is similar but not identical to the Army morale check you do at the top of every hour.
Right.
And so one difference is there's an automatic -1 to your die roll, which is good. That's merciful. You can modify this Army morale check by using some of the command rating of your commander, with the understanding that that means for the rest of the hour that you've reduced your commander's command rating. Effectively,
Right.
he's spending his time trying to rally the troops instead of actually directing the troops. Army morale check must be made even if the current level of losses has already been rolled for. That's another difference. So say, for example, that the columns were every 15, which may actually even be the case here.
That is the case here.
Okay, so suppose at the 4 o'clock hour you'd rolled on the 15 column because you had between 15 and 30 losses or routed units that
Right.
you needed to. So you'd already rolled on that column. If 5 o'clock comes around and you're still between 15 and 30, you wouldn't have to roll again because you've already rolled on the 15 column.
Right.
However, this special event would require you to roll at whatever your current column is, no matter whether you've rolled for it or not. But
Right.
again, with a -1 to your die roll, and if you roll a natural 0, you actually get your army morale reduced by 5.
Oh my goodness.
So like I said, it is different than the top of the hour thing.
Right.
Now, the big question in my mind is, are either one of us to a point of having accrued 15 losses?
I don't think so. I mean, the
No,
only place where we've suffered any losses is down here by Chad's Ford. And
Well, I lost some artillery, but again, the artillery doesn't count for much.
Yep.
So I'm not sure. I'm not sure if either one of us has gotten to 15 yet. You've lost a handful, but
I've lost 2, 4, 5. I've just lost 5 increments. At least my command has only lost 5. So
right. And it doesn't look like I've lost any down south yet. I don't see any that I've lost down south. So then up north, I've lost that artillery. What was that? Was that 2 different units or was it just 1
2
unit?
different ones. They're in the graveyard there.
Okay. Oh, that's right. Of course, this module has a graveyard. I forgot about that. Okay. Yep, I see it. Oh, they're in the French.
Yeah, that's right.
Under the graveyard. Yeah. Whoops. magic cut and paste, huh? So if I look at the loss charts for the American Army, um, so field artillery losses, so that counts as 4 losses, because it's a total of 8 increments.
Yep.
So that's 4, and then what else have I lost? I mean, I have lost a handful.
Not very much. There might be 1 or 2.
Yeah,
I
see,
know
I
of
don't
one.
think we're gonna. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. I see 1 now, and that was probably from the opportunity fire we were looking
Yeah,
at before.
that was
right?
the one opportunity fire there. Got
That actually
made a
did
hit
work.
out of 6. Yeah.
Okay. Well, all right. So, boy, as much fun as rolling double aught is, I don't think it actually means anything
Not yet.
because neither one of us. And David can certainly speak to this from our Chatuzits battle. Once you're engaged and starting to move up those columns, uh,
Oh.
you're probably dreading this 00 roll because it's like, oh great, because that's just what I needed. And I guess that's finally when you just decided that you were done at Chatuzits, right? Because
Well, no, that was actually
you were
that one actually put me over the victory conditions. And it might have been from a double zero.
oh,
I think it was from
you're
a 00
no,
roll.
you're exactly right. And then at Brandywine, you were starting to get up to some pretty big numbers too. So it's kind of like you can't ever be sure. You definitely know there's the top of the hour that behaves in a very predictable way, but occasionally this other stuff could come in and lay wreckage to your plans. Okay, well, all right. So I think we're going to skip that special event, and then I'll just roll again.
And also lucky for Michael that voluntary routed do not count against routed units.
Yeah.
Correct, exactly. Otherwise, I'd be in deep kimchi,
Yeah.
and would have been all along. That's going to be a
Which
wing
I don't
activation
think
for
we
you
did
guys.
I don't think we did that in Monmouth.
No. We didn't count your voluntary routed units
We
against.
didn't?
No,
I don't know. We were counting a whole lot of stuff.
I don't think. I think we were.
I didn't remember segregating those, but we could have been because But
Yeah, I don't remember for sure, but I don't think so because at least my gut feeling is that shouldn't count the same way. But who knows? All right, it's a wing for you guys.
yeah, Eric, go for a wing.
Oh, okay. All right. Now I got to figure out what I'm doing.
Oh, hate that. David and I would always have that problem. We'd get together, we'd roll the dice, and it's like, well, the good news is you won. The bad news is now you got to figure out what
Now
to
I
do.
gotta figure out what to do. All right. Well, I think everyone's within command range of Niephausen, so we can move everybody, which is exciting.
Now, see, Michael, in the initial ones, I wasn't doing that. In Chatuzits, I would spend time, off time, and I had little diagrams and everything of what I was going to do, with each group.
Oh my word! Oh my word! Oh well, I promise you, I didn't.
So the first thing I do is shoot, correct?
Actually, the first thing you would do is, well, first of all, confirm that everyone's in command, and looks like there's that one straggly unit up to the north that's still
Right.
not in command. That would be the very first thing you do. The next thing you do is do disorder recovery. You do have some disordered units. I
Yeah.
think in most cases they've got officers stacked with them, so that the disorder comes off automatically. But that would be the next thing you'd do.
Right. And so then this one is shaken and disordered, so then we would just flip it to be.
Yeah,
Well,
not really sure how the module handles
Yeah,
that.
it's not letting me, so I need to find.
Okay,
then-
but it remains as shaken in spite of the
right.
the
Shaken, not
disorder
shaken.
comes off. Exactly.
Okay, so I gotta find a shaken.
Shaken doesn't.
Because the
Yeah,
shaken
how
is
do
more of
we
a
get-
morale check thing at the end of the.
Yeah.
At the
I'm just
recovery
curious.
phase,
How
right?
did we end up with 2 different statuses there in a stack? I thought that didn't work.
I think it was a special result.
Yeah.
Well, or no, because there's Oh, yeah, because we've got the artillery there, and we have the
The
infantry.
Yeah, it is. You can get shaken and disordered by rolling badly enough on a disorder check.
Yeah.
If memory serves, that's what happened. I don't recall for sure.
Yeah,
The
I
only
can't
thing that
remember.
makes me a little bit nervous is did we a- attempt to rally him in the rally phase?
I don't think
You know,
so.
since it was a unit stacked on top of it, I'm a little concerned that we might have missed it.
Yeah, that is entirely possible. So,
So if that's the case, then we probably should go ahead and roll for that.
okay, well, let me throw some dice and see what we get.
I just don't recall.
56 is pretty good.
Well, it is, except you get plus 10 for being shaken.
Okay.
And you get another plus 5 for being disordered because you would have been disordered at that time.
All right.
So
So they've
just
got
just so you're
they've got a
aware of that,
24.
right? So that'd be 39 minus whatever the leader's good for. So you're good.
Yeah, the leader's a -6, so yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I wanted you to be aware of the pluses that you're always having to work against when you're trying to recover organizational state or morale state.
Okay. All right. So that being done,
So so the shaken disappeared because of that, and then the disorder recovery happens
right, 'cause they were
automatically because you're stacked with a leader. So all good there. Okay, so now you are finished with disorder recovery, and so then firing is next.
Okay. All right.
And carry on.
All right. So I'm going to have this chap fire here.
Okay.
And so I've got the 2 regimental guns, which give me 8 points. And then do I count in some of my troops since they're in line there?
Absolutely, yes. Because regimental guns are a special circumstance.
Okay.
This game is full of them. The American Revolution ones particularly is full of it. So let's take a look here. So usually you don't fire artillery and infantry together,
Okay.
but because these are regimental guns, you do fire them together. And just looking to see what does it say in terms of how many SPs.
Well, it says line.
An infantry unit.
See chart
An
A.
infantry unit and its regimental guns can combine their fire against the same target. Regimental guns stacked with infantry in line or hook may fire as long as the guns are stacked above the 6th SP in the stack. Doesn't.
So it sounds to me like I'd fire the 2 SPs of the regimental gun and then 4 SPs of the infantry for a total of 6 SPs, right?
I think I would agree with that. Yes, I think that makes sense to me.
Okay.
So then
those
that's, you
are
said it was
my-
8 for the artillery.
Yeah, and so then my those are the Hessians. So they got to be like regular foot, right? Or
They must be. They're nothing else.
So that's going to be then
4 times 4.
16. So 16 plus 8 is going to be 24.
Okay, so that's going to be. I'm going to say that's 1-to-1, but those guys are
You're in an entrenchment, so then
in an entrenchment, and that's.
1 to the left. It says.
Is that what it is?
It says 1L, so I presume that's 1 to the left. Because
Where do you see that?
That's on
Just
the
to the left.
terrain effects chart.
Oh, I'm sorry. It is. Yes, it is.
Fire
Okay,
combat,
so
1 column left.
1 column left. Okay, so I guess it'd be 1 to 1.5.
Yep, that's my thinking.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
And I don't think there's any pluses or minuses, so we just roll, see what we get. And that is
Oi!
the guns
That-
got soggy going across the creek there.
Yeah. Just thank goodness they didn't blow up in your face. Wow. Okay.
All right. then
Big
this
big
chap
nothing
is-
there.
This chap's going to attack.
Same
there.
idea. Probably
Yeah,
The
so
same
it's going to be a
calculation in that
1-to-1,
case.
right? Because he's well,
Uh,
he's skirmisher, so he's going to be
yeah, it's
another
1-to-1, but
5.
it's going to be -10 because it's a skirmisher
So it's not going to be one. Oh, the minus is on the die roll.
on
Okay.
the die roll.
Okay.
Exactly.
All
Yep.
right, here we go. A 90. So that
Hey,
becomes
now
an
that's
80.
more like it. That's probably good enough for a hit.
So it says a 1.
Here I am.
Fired. Hmm. Yeah, so it's a 1M.
Okay. All right. Yeah, and because you rolled an even number, there actually is a requirement for a morale check. So first things first, let's go ahead and find an increments lost marker to put under there. So we got an increment lost there, and then we'll do a morale check. This is a morale check for fire combat. So that's a morale check type A. And I suspect none of these are going to apply as I'm looking. I got a leader modifier because leader happens to be stacked there, but otherwise I don't think any of the rest of these are going to apply. The impact would be that a good morale unit would become shaken, and a shaken morale unit would rout in the event that they fail. So let's just give that a whirl. That is more than enough. They are fine. Thank you, sir. May I have another?
There you go.
All right. Oh, yeah, okay. No, you're good.
Okay.
All right.
Then I've got these Queen's Rangers that are down here.
Right.
And they can
Yep.
take a pot shot at you. So I've got
Thank
altogether
you.
7 increments.
7
times
increments.
4. So that's going to be 28.
And there times 4. 28. So
So
that's
it's the
going to be...
same. 1-to-1.
Yep, 1-to-1 -10. Yeah,
There
exactly.
we go. Let's roll another 90. Oh, not quite.
Cal damage. Yeah. Okay.
And then I've got this
All
field gun
right.
here, and they can fire
Right.
at somebody who's a good
And he's
target.
at 3 hex range, so he's going to be times 5 multiplier, so that's not bad.
Okay, so let's take
Who's
a
he shooting at?
pot shot at these guys.
Okay, so that's going to be 1-to-1. And let's see, that's 8 strength points. So just to be on the safe side, we're going to look at the chart on the fire chart, and we're going to see that 8 is just enough to get you down to a -5 for target size. So it's 1-to-1 -5.
Okay, here we go. And that's a miss.
That is a miss. Okay. All right. I think that's all you're firing, if I'm not mistaken.
That's all I got for the moment.
All right. So now we'll move to movement.
Yep. And then do I declare assaults here, or we do that after all the movement's done?
Yeah, you would do that after all movement's done, and then once all movement's done, we move to the close combat segment. That's when you would declare which units are doing close combats.
Okay. So we'll start with some more of these Hessians, moving them around.
Mm-hmm.
So this chap's going to go there.
Okay, that's one.
And then he's going to turn. Right, so that's...
There you go, that's 2
points. And then...
Do you get a opportunity shot on him at half?
This guy
Well,
here?
yes, because he's half obscured, so I suppose when he changed facing there, I would have gotten a half shot at him. Don't know if it's going to add up to a cup of warm spit, but we'll try it. Let's take a look. So that's at range 2. I can only fire with 2 increments.
So it's 16 to 20. So you're less
16
than
to
1.
20. So 1 to 1.5. So I mean, I guess it's worth rolling the dice and seeing what we get. I don't think there's anything for size because you're a normal size. So it's I don't think it's going to matter. I think I get the privilege of firing while you're flanked. all that would do is actually increase my fire multiplier by 1, which means it's times 9 instead of times 8.
Oh,
It's
that
just a
still
little.
doesn't do it.
It doesn't change anything though.
Right.
And there's an optional rule that deals with flank fire differently because
Yeah,
obviously,
but are you
you
really
know.
firing in my flank? I mean,
Yeah,
are you firing into this hex side?
Oh, I'm sorry. No, you are quite right.
Yeah.
You were. I'm sorry. That wasn't
Yeah.
a flank shot in the
Yeah.
first place. My bad. My bad. I for some reason I thought you'd come up
If
in
I'd moved
column
there,
or something.
if I moved there,
Well,
then that definitely
if
have a
you'd come
flank,
up in yeah, exactly, or if you'd come up in column and then got into line, then
Right.
you would have been. But okay, quite so. All right, so 1 to 1.5 straight up, and away we go. Hey, big shooting Tex.
All right, 1 and 1.5.
So
A
that
92.
is going to be a 1 DM.
All right.
So 1 increment.
All right, and then what?
And then a disorder check.
All right, here we go. 43.
That's
and
almost certainly
I'm a
good enough.
36.
Oh, wow. You're not as good as I thought.
Yeah,
Okay.
some of those Hessians aren't that great.
Yeah.
That's why I'm sending in
Okay.
the guns.
But good enough in this case because there wasn't anything there. And then a morale check because I rolled a 92. So it was an even number. So
Oh,
a
okay,
morale
so
check.
I got to make another check. 59. So
Okay.
that's that.
All right. Piece of cake. Okay. So 1 increment. I'll just have to satisfy myself with that.
Well,
So you
let's
are
get
now
another
at 2
shot.
movement points. Oh yeah.
Right. So then this guy's going to then move forward. Whoops. To there. So you'll get another shot. Same thing.
Exactly the same shot.
Exactly the same shot. Hopefully not
Yeah.
exactly the same roll.
Oh no, exactly the same. Here we go. 92. Oh boy.
Special result.
Oh
God.
boy. Here we go. All right.
This is when the guns explode.
No, I'm afraid not. So let's see. This is under the Brandywine special results table, under artillery fire combat special results, 0-1 on the American
you shift the
column.
to the right and re-roll. That's a nice one.
Exactly.
And now you're
So
at 1
there's
to 1.
now I'm at 1 to 1, and I'm gonna roll a 37.
There you go.
Yeah, here we go. 1 to 1.
68.
That's not going to be enough.
Oh.
Oh, it's enough for another disorder check.
Yep. All right.
I'll take that.
Yeah, we pass.
Curse you, Red Baron.
Yes, I'm sure he's here. There's a Richtoven's got to be somewhere.
Oh, sure there is. There's bound to be. Of course there is. Yeah.
He's a
All right.
great grandfather, you know.
Probably so.
All right, so that's that.
All right. What other movement have you in mind?
Well, we got more little people. I'm going to move this poor sod who's out of command. So this is half. And then he's going to turn. So that's 1.5. And then I don't think he can go any. Well, actually, going over that little stream doesn't cost anything.
He
I
just
think
cost him
he-
just disorder, right? Check, right?
He just needs to do a disorder check when he gets across.
Here we
Yeah.
go. 65.
All right. All right.
So
He may see this battle yet.
yeah, we're feeling optimistic about that. All right, and then I got more people to move here. So, All right, and you said I can move through the skirmishers, or
Uh,
but then
Yeah,
would that trigger a shot from you, or did I have to stop?
Oh,
when
it
I get
absolutely
into the
would.
lead?
Yeah, I mean, it would clearly involve opportunity fire, but it wouldn't result in disorder checks because of pass through, because there is no pass through.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm not sure that I want to move him there just yet.
Come on, we brought 80 balls each. Come on, we're ready.
All right. Yeah, I got to try to figure out that whole brigade is all jumbled up is the problem. So I'm going to keep marching them along here. So that's one.
There you go. That's one.
And two.
No, that's 1.5.
Oh, 1.5. And that's
Yeah, that's 2.5. Yep.
And then that's going to be 3.
3. Yes, it is.
Okay. And then I guess I could put him into line. And that's 4.
Yeah. Yep, that would be 4.
Okay.
If he went into line to the left.
Right, which is what he did.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay. And then I think I'd cross the
that
little creek there.
Yes, you did. So we definitely need to roll that.
Here we go. Oh my gosh, a 0-2.
Okay, now that's a movement disorder special result, which is gonna be on one of these charts. Holy heavens!
Reroll with double all the original checks modifiers. Am I looking at that correctly?
Okay. Well, there was a +5 modifier because you crossed 1 hex.
Okay. So then it's going to be a +10 modifier now.
+10. That's exactly right.
There we go. 42.
All right. That's probably going to be good enough because he's British,
24.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's fine. Okay.
Okay. So he made it.
And they show up right next to the other guys, pretty as you please, like this a parade. It's very nice.
All right, these guys are going to go 1, and then
that's a half.
I'm sorry, half.
There's 1.5.
2.
There you go.
And
2.
then that's going to be, and then that's 3. No, that's 2, 3, and then they're going to go into line as well, right there, 4.
Oh, okay. So there's your 4.
Yep.
Okay. Yep, that makes sense.
All right. And let's see. This guy. 1, 2. Can I move the artillery in there? Or how's that going to work?
Only if you had enough movement points to actually unlimber, which unfortunately you wouldn't.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I take that back. What I really mean to say is by the end of his movement, he has to be limbered and facing in the correct direction,
right,
along with the rest of the stack.
Okay. He
would have to rapid march in order to do that because he would need 5 movement points to do it. He'd need 3 to get there and then 2 to unlimber, and then he'd have to do a disorder check based upon rapid marching.
Okay. We don't need him in the fray just yet, so that's fine.
All right.
So then we'll just move. We'll leave the leaders here. And then we'll just move that guy up so that they're at least all together feeling happy.
Okay.
And then this one is going to... so there's 1, 2, 3. And how many artillery can I stack?
It's in column. I think it's a lot.
Oh, I can get a whole bunch.
Yeah.
Okay. I think I've got.
I think I've successfully managed to. Yeah. I mean, it's a ridiculous number, whatever it is.
All right, so I can get that guy in there too.
Yep.
All right, so I've got all my leaders kind of stacked up here. I've got this guy. Oh, he was disordered, so he'd be undisordered because.
The guy on the other side of Chad's Ford.
Because
he'll get another chance to be.
Yeah, he's got to try to cross again.
Yeah.
Because I think he disordered when he crossed that little creek there. All right, so then he's going to. There's 1, and then he's going across the creek, and I think that is +2, so that's going to be 3 to get there. So that's 4. He's used up all his movement. And then he's got to make a morale check.
Wait a minute. So he was in column, right? And he'd spent one.
It's a ford. It's only +1. So he can move one more.
Exactly.
Okay. All right.
So he did 1 to turn, right?
Yep.
And then +1 to cross.
So it would be 2,
and so
and then
2.5 was in that hex right behind him. So he's actually at 3 right now in the hex where you have him.
Okay.
So he's
he
actually
can
got one
move.
movement point left.
Yeah, we'll just move him up. Actually, I'm going to wait to kind of move him. I want to get this guy through first. So I
Yes,
forgot about him.
that makes.
Yeah.
Yep, yep.
So he's going to go 1, and then 2, and then 3. Is that how it works? That's sort of a zigzag thing? Okay.
Absolutely. Yep, that is exactly right.
So he's there.
Okay.
So then I'll
All right.
move this guy. As we said, he gets over here, and he's at 3.
He's at 3 there. Yep.
Okay. And then we'll just move him one more, so we'll have 3.5.
All right. Yep.
Okay. And then this
All right.
guy is our leader. We're going to move him. So he's got everybody with 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, he's fine. This guy. So this guy's can move forward 1, I guess. He's got 1, 2, 3. This guy will be in command next turn, right?
Holy moly, we won't know how to act.
Finally.
Yeah, although again, it only would be if you actually activated the first and second separately.
Right. All right, then I got this
maybe you do, maybe you
skirmisher.
don't. I was wondering if you were going to remember them.
So he can move there through the marsh. I guess that's 1. And then for skirmishers, it says it's 1.
What did we say that? Is that?
Yeah, that's
I don't,
marsh.
is that marsh? That doesn't look like marsh.
Or no, it's not marsh. That's bramble.
Bramble? Oh, okay.
Bramble.
So it's 1.
So that only costs him 1 movement point.
Yeah, and then he's here. That's 1.5.
It's
probably 1.5. Because the creek probably doesn't mean anything to him, right?
Right.
No, the creek doesn't. That little stream doesn't.
Stream, sorry. Yeah. Right. Okay. So yeah, he's at 2 right there.
Right, and so then this will be 3, I guess.
No,
it's going to be 2.5.
2.5.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I can move him there. Is that going to be then 3? And we stop because then we're still within range.
Oh, yeah, you're
right.
It's a very skirmishy sort of position you have there.
Okay, those are my favorite kind.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right. So I think that's it for everybody. Are all my leaders in the right place, David?
You might. Are you going to support any of your? You said you're going to do some attacks, so you might have a couple of spare. You got a.
Oh yeah, I got an ADC over here.
You might want to. I don't know if they're of any use to help support an attack or not, but
well, he adds a +1. That's better than a poke in the eye. We'll throw him in here and see if that helps any. Okay, and then I think everybody else is still pretty cool. Yeah. Okay. All right. That's it for my movement phase. So now we have our combat.
Yeah, now you would do close combat.
Okay.
And the way that close combat would work is, first of all, you would do attacker designations. Who's planning on doing close combat? Strictly speaking, I think there's actually a counter that you can put on a unit to indicate that. I never have, but sure, I guess in theory you could. But probably just simpler to just have you just actually indicate which hexes are going to do close combat.
All right, so this chap here is going to attack that chap there.
Well, now, actually, you don't say that yet.
I don't. Why not?
All you actually do is specify who wants to engage in close combat.
Okay. Okay. So it's
because
all right.
Because if they fail their morale check, it could turn out that this guy in the middle, let's say, for example, that hex fails its morale check and therefore doesn't go in. Now the guy next to him has to attack those skirmishers.
Okay. All right.
Because now nobody else is. Okay. So that's why you don't designate it until you've actually passed your morale check.
Right. Yeah, this is different than La Bataille, where you are
very much
marking the who
exactly
you're attacking and where it's going and all that good stuff.
So
right.
some,
And
here's some close combat markers.
All right.
oh,
Thank
that's
you.
lovely. So, and that's probably all three of them. That's probably it,
Yeah.
right?
Now, can my
Okay.
skirmishers initiate close combat or not?
I, I honestly have no idea. My guess is probably not.
Okay.
I'd be kind of surprised.
Well, they
I'm
just
not
would
even
be
sure what
doing
that would.
close combat against other skirmishers. So I know in the
I
Napoleonic
know.
system you can do that if you want to. Obviously, your capacity is not as good, but
Yeah, I don't know. That's
okay.
actually it's a good
So
question.
then basically I roll for
I'm-
these guys and see if they pass.
That's right. So you do
Okay.
an attacker morale check for each of those three hexes in before we then actually start doing individual combat designations.
Okay. All right. So we'll roll for this chap first.
Alrighty.
Uh-oh, that's not good. That's probably not enough. The guns went in. No, the guns didn't go in.
No, the guns. No, well, no. First of all, it's only the guy on top of the stack
All
anyway.
right. So what does it
Ooh,
mean if you fail?
34. Yeah, so there's really no recovering from that. So he now becomes shaken,
Okay.
and shaken units can't conduct close combat. So he's not going to participate in this.
Okay. All right. Well, that's one of them down. Maybe they'll all do the same thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's been known to happen.
Oh gosh.
All right.
That's the thing. Close combat is just absolutely Joker's wild. You have no idea what's going to happen.
All right.
So
this-
yeah,
this
go to the
chap
next
is
one.
Gonna go. Here we go. 38. All right. He's probably okay.
Probably
He's at
okay.
30.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now the other thing we should point out, just because this is the sort of stuff you need to know, because it influences how you do this stuff. Here I am furiously looking for on the morale check summary chart. There's a table there, and this is pre-close combat, so it's type B. And the one that frequently gets forgotten is one that's called supported line / hook. Now, in this case, this guy is in a circumstance of supported line. There's a line unit on either side of him, left
Okay.
and right. So he actually gets a -10, which is a positive, to his. So he could have rolled pretty bad. Well, he could have rolled pretty badly and still been okay because he had the benefit of that 10.
Well, would that have? Well, even with the roll I had with the 23, this guy was a 34, right? So I don't think.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been enough to rescue him.
Yeah.
And besides which, skirmishers
They don't count
on your flank wouldn't be enough.
Okay. All right. So he's passed. So then we just go to the next chap here and see what we get.
Actually,
Seven.
I take that back. I take that back. Rereading it. Both of the flank hexes have a friendly unit that is neither routed nor shaken. So actually, it would have been enough, but a 23 wouldn't have been enough anyway. So
Yeah, because I think his.
he missed by 11. Yeah.
He's a 34. So
Right.
yeah. So it was
Yeah.
one shy.
Close.
Yep.
We put the officer
Okay.
on the wrong spot.
Yeah.
Exactly. If only you'd known, right?
Yep, that's how it usually works.
Okay. So the other two do pass.
Okay.
And so if there was cavalry charge movement, it would happen now.
Mm-hmm.
If there were any defender reactions to that cavalry charge, or if there were any counter charges, that would happen now. Obviously, none of that applies. So then we get to step D, which is individual combat designations. In this case, there's not a lot of thinking going on because basically each of your stacks has to attack one other stack
Okay.
because your third stack isn't going in at all.
Right.
So he kind of makes it mandatory for your second stack to have to go in and attack at
So
those
this guy would
skirmishers.
have to attack that guy. And then
Yeah.
this guy would attack that guy because there's no one else he can attack.
Exactly,
Okay.
right. And so now at this point, everything we do is one combat at a time.
Okay.
So you decide which combat you want to do first, and then it'll get resolved before we then go back and do the next one.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and do this one first.
I would actually.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, all right. And so let's see. So then we would do defender morale check and retreat before close combat. Those would be the 2 steps that we would take on here. And let's just make sure we got all that understood. Defending units that are capable of retreat before combat may retreat rather than fight. The units that have this ability are listed in the battle rules. I'm confident that skirmishers include that. If a close combat involves defenders in several hexes, some defenders can attempt to retreat and others to stay, but any retreat applies to an entire stack, not individual units in the stack. Procedures covered in section 20. If all defenders retreat, the attacker must advance into those vacated hexes per advance after combat, but may not pursue, may not initiate another close combat. So first of all, is there any objection to these guys being eligible for retreat before combat?
I don't think so. Do they have to make a morale check anyway, or they just do the retreat?
They will do the retreat, and then they will have a different kind of morale check
okay.
that they do at the end of it, if memory serves. I'm going to have to double check that. But I'm reasonably confident that these are all retreat before close combat, right?
Skirmishers, right? Yeah, I think that's.
Yeah, I see it right here. Also, units in skirmish formation may retreat before close combat. Actually, I'm struggling to find it.
I would presume skirmishers can retreat before combat.
Yes, I'm sure they can. Okay, all right. So so in section 20.1 is where we talk about retreat before close combat. Moves 1 or 2 hexes at the retreating player's choice away from the enemy units that were designated to attack it, and when the retreat is complete, it makes a morale check D.
Okay, I see that.
And so I will then decide that I'm going to retreat 1 hex in that direction, and I'm not going to retreat another hex. And then I will do a morale check D, and let's see if there's anything special on morale check D that applies. Boy, I don't see anything that looks like it applies, except leader modifier, because he's with the leader, so I guess I'll just go ahead and do that. All right, here we go. And not very good, but I hope that's going to be good enough.
He's
a 20,
They're actually
22. Jeepers, these guys
They're
are
better than some
nerves
of
of
the British.
steel. Right. All right, so they passed that. So yeah, there was nothing else that really happens there. So you have to advance into the hex.
Right. I want to move into the hex anyway.
Of course you would. I mean, why the heck not, right?
And then that ends combat?
It does for that one, yes.
Right.
And I just want to make sure, where did I was just reading something here. Retreat before combat. If the defenders retreat, the attacker must advance per advance after combat, which is 15.
Mm-hmm.
And so the thing about advance after combat is I'm trying to see where it actually says this. Advancing units may freely change facing in any direction after moving into the vacated hex, but only if that hex is not in an enemy zone of control. Well, in this case, it is. So, all right. So in this case, you pretty much have to come in and just, that's your facing.
Right.
The reason I bring that up is because, well, we'll get to that in a minute, because that is the end of that first combat, but we can go on to the second combat now. And the second combat, I'm not going to retreat, because well, first of all,
I
I
don't know
can't.
that you can. Yeah.
Exactly. And so we'll then follow the other path where we do the defender morale check. And so I will do that. Now the defender morale check, that's pre-close combat morale check. Um, I'm not shaken. I haven't taken losses. Blah de blah de blah. Outflanked may apply. We're going to take a quick look and see if outflanked applies. Outflanked says that there is and I lose my page. There's a non-routed enemy unit in any of the checking unit's flank or rear hexes. Apply a single +10 modifier regardless of the number of enemy units present in these hexes. The enemy unit doesn't need to be performing the action that causes the morale check. It merely needs to be present. Now, what I don't know is, does entrenchment change anything about that? Not 100%.
The entrenchment isn't all the way around. It's just across
Understood.
these two. Yeah. So
understood. So it's possible that it doesn't make any difference at all. I just wanted to at least throw that
now the
speculation
entrenchment does
out
give
there.
you a -4 on your
Yeah.
combat modifier.
I'm thoroughly hoping to enjoy that shortly.
So you will have then altogether a +6. If I'm understanding that correctly.
We'll get to all those calculations in just a minute. Yeah. So entrenchments.
There's more.
2 hex sides of the hex, and those are the 2 hex sides. So yeah, so only those 2 hex sides are covered by the entrenchment, receive bonuses. Units don't have to conform to the facing of the entrenchment. So really is not very much to them. So okay, that's fine. Okay, so I need to do my morale check.
Yep.
Yeah.
And looks like it's going to be at a -10, and we'll see what we get.
Oof.
Uh-oh. That didn't work. That didn't work at all. So that means that they are shaken, which is not good for the good guys. All right. And then we'll go to defensive fire.
And you've got, I think, four of your artillery there, so that's going to be ×8. That's going to be 32. But then if you're shaken, I'm sure that modifies things slightly.
Actually, that's what I was just working through there.
Can shaken units fire?
Well, that's ordinarily yes, but I was just trying to remember. Reactive unit capable of fire combat that did not perform a reaction or facing change may perform defensive fire against attacking unit or stack in its zone of control. Reactive units defensive fire is conducted exactly the same as regular, except infantry and artillery combine their fire strengths. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it looks like they can. So to be clear, the effect of being shaken is going to dramatically reduce my chances of surviving the close combat. But disorder reduces your firepower.
Oh, okay.
But shaken doesn't reduce your firepower. Disorder kind of affects you in both ways. So, all right. So what'd you say? It was 4 ×8 is 32.
Right. 32.
And then it looks like I could get 2 more increments to fire at 4. So what would that be? That'd be 40 altogether?
Yep. So you'd be at 2 to 1 if I'm understanding that correctly.
2 to 1. Yeah, that's right. And let's see. So it's 2 to 1. But now if we look at the fire chart, defensive fire versus infantry is plus 20. Defensive fire versus cavalry is plus 10. I think the idea behind this is you're just having to get real damn close to me.
Where is that modifier? Is it on the
It's on
fire
the
combat
fire chart.
chart?
Yep.
Fire
Far,
combat modifier C.
Right.
Halfway down. Yep.
Yep. Right column. And so you'll see
okay.
a number
okay.
of them. Of course,
So then
we've already looked
that's
at
adding it. That's adding it to your die roll, correct?
to the die roll.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
Right. You're not big enough for target size to matter.
Right.
You're not in any exotic, organization or formation. I'm not disordered, so I'm not. My SPs aren't halved. We did partial line of sight just a minute ago with SPs halved. We saw that, but
Right.
but in this case, so it's full on. So I think it's 2 to 1 plus 20.
Yeah,
I
let me
think
ask
is
you
what-
one thing though. But the
Yeah.
how many increments are the artillery assaulting too?
My artillery?
Yeah, the regimental guns.
Well,
that are-
I didn't have enough to unlimber them.
Right, I know that, but what I'm asking is, are they counted as as SPs that are going as part of the attack?
I don't even understand how they could be.
Yeah.
Which in that
the
case,
gunners are attacking.
we would get a -5 because we only have 8 SPs.
Oh, I take your meaning there. Yeah, actually, that's an interesting point because I think I don't think it would have mattered anyway because I think they count as 0 as long as they're stacked with their own regiment.
Right.
Oh, that's right. And
So it's 8 anyway.
Okay.
So
it's
that's a good
2-to-1 with
point.
plus 15.
So it's 2 to 1 with a plus 15 exactly. So we'll see what we get this time.
Oh, that's a big number.
Okay, that's a big
It's gonna
number.
be
It
over
is.
100.
Yeah. Oh, yes, it is. Oh, goodness.
Okay.
All right. So that's going to be 3D, but there is no M because it was an 87.
Okay.
So 3 and D. 3 is, boy, that's pretty harsh.
that's massive. Yeah.
Yeah, that hurts.
That's canister right in the face.
Yeah, boy, it sure was.
Okay, and then I make a morale check.
As these guys
No,
are standing
it's a
there wetting
disorder.
their pants,
Oh, a disorder check. Okay.
it's a disorder check, which I'm sure you pass. I mean, that number's high enough. There's no way you didn't pass.
Okay. I'll take your word for it.
Okay. And so now we'll come to close combat, and let's look at the close combat chart. God have mercy. How do I manage to get these things so out of order?
I stapled mine together, so they're all.
They
never get out of
that
order.
would probably make me unhappy in a different way. I
Oh.
just, where is the close combat chart? This is so dumb. Oh, please.
All right.
All right. So we got a couple of different things we need to do.
Yeah.
Thing number one that we need to do is we need to figure out that, and this is in the bottom left of the close combat card,
Okay.
is figure out the SP odds ratio.
Yep.
Okay. So I have
And so
5 SPs, and you've got 3.
It is 5 and 3. That is correct. I'm pretty sure I'm right when I say this, that artillery don't count for
Yeah.
anything
And
unless
it-
they're by themselves, in which case they count as 1.
Correct.
Yeah. Now now is when your shaking comes into effect, right?
Big time. Well, as soon as we get past that, right? So the odds ratio is 1.5 to 1. Basically, that's what we got, right?
Okay.
Okay. So then we go to calculate each side's combat value.
Okay.
And so you flip your guy over and we find what his combat value is. It's +2, and then he's stacked with a leader
Plus
gives him
one.
another +1, so he's
Okay.
+3.
Mm-hmm.
Don't think there's anything else that counts there that we need to worry about. And then my guys are, let's see what their story is. They are +3. However, there are, as you'll see over here, lots of close combat modifiers on the right.
Oh, so shaken is a -5.
Exactly. So if your
Okay.
unit was at 50% plus of SP losses, its printed CV is halved. You're
Right.
almost there, but not quite.
Right.
So it doesn't apply to you. But yeah, I get a -5 for being shaken. So now I'm at -2.
Okay.
However, let's see. I think you're going to take a -4 for attacking entrenchments.
Where's that at?
So on the terrain effects chart.
Oh, okay. I thought the -4 was for the morale check.
No, that's
Okay.
actually it's a close combat modifier, so it's going to affect it's
Okay.
affecting the die roll effectively is what all
Okay.
this is going to come down to. So you were at 3, but now -4, so you're at -1. I'm at -2,
Okay.
and then I don't think enfilade applies here because I think for enfilade to apply, you'd have to be facing me.
And if I remember right, I believe that is also correct.
I think that's right. So, okay. All right. So I think what that means is you're at -1, I'm at -2. The net is that you've got a benefit of 1 over me.
Okay.
And so then what we end up doing is just rolling the 2 die button.
Right. And then
And
I will get a
again, the
+2.
left.
Okay. And then I'll have a
Exactly.
+1 on it.
We'll take the difference between them,
Okay.
and then we'll give you a benefit of 1 because of the CV difference.
Okay. All right.
And then we'll look at the chart and see what we get.
Okay.
So why don't you go ahead
Here
and
we go.
roll that and see what you get?
Oh my gosh,
Hey.
that's a terrible roll.
Well, it's not
Oh.
that
It's
because
not.
there's a 0.
Oh my
Because
gosh.
there's a 0.
So
It's
now we
worse
gotta
than
go
that.
To the whatever the other evil thing is here.
That's right. So if we look at, oh geez, where is it?
Close combat. Is it Brandywine special results?
It's on the Brandywine special results on the bottom right. There's the close combat special results. And at any time that you get a 0 in either position, it's a
Right.
special result.
Okay.
And so in this case, and it doesn't matter which position it is, so the only number we care about is the other number, which in
Right.
this case is a 6. So we go down, we find the 6, and then we start applying the results to the attacker and the defender.
Right.
So the first thing is we each lose 2 increments.
Right.
Because obviously what happens in a special event is that you actually are crossing bayonets.
Right. Yeah. Obviously, it's a big bloody.
A
mess.
lot of times these close combats, just somebody routs and there's really not very many casualties. But
Right.
when there's a special result, I usually interpret it as, yep, the real deal just happened. So I've got an increment and then I have to increase it by 1. So that guy's already more than half dead. Okay. So that's the first step. The second step is roll for leader loss for all leaders who gave a CV bonus to the units. Now you, in this case, happen to have one, so you roll a single D10 and you want to roll high.
That's 7.
And you did. Okay.
No,
Otherwise he'd have been KIA.
Okay.
So then we rank all stacks by their effectiveness rating using the modifiers for a morale check type G.
Yeah.
Oh my
And so in this case, we're both more than 50% dead.
Right.
So we each are going to get a plus 10
Right.
against us. I get another plus 10 because I'm also shaken.
Okay.
And I think that's probably the only ones that matter.
Looks
A
like
leader modifier matters.
Okay.
So you get a -4 for that.
Okay.
Is there anything else? I don't think so. Okay, so let's take a look at that. So you got a plus 10, that would be 46, but then a -4, so that makes your number 42.
Okay.
Okay. I had a 28, but it's plus 20, so I'm actually at 48.
Okay.
Okay. And now, is there something, David?
Nope. I was gonna say you roll first, right?
Yeah, I roll first because I have the higher number.
Ah, okay.
And this is something that only happens with special results because usually the attacker has to roll morale checks first.
Okay.
But in this case, the guy with the worst, and by the way, there can be multiple stacks involved, and and they all go in whatever order they go in.
Right.
And I found myself attacking in close combat with 2 stacks,
Right.
and one of them routes away
Right.
after the first round of combat. Now, of course, the second round of combat's not nearly as much fun because now suddenly the odds are a lot worse. So,
okay.
all right. Right, because, I mean, stuff happens. Okay,
Sure.
so I got to roll, and I got to try not to route away. So let's see if we do. I do not. I route away, which means you don't have to do a morale check because there are no defenders left.
Right. We scared them away after a bloody melee.
Oh, yeah, after a bloody melee. Okay. I believe that the artillery just goes right to the graveyard because artillery can't route.
Yeah.
I mean, unlimbered artillery can't route. So he goes to the graveyard. These guys go to...
They go to the graveyard because they lose 1 SP en route.
Oh, yes, that's right. If the morale check has failed, you lose 1 SP en route, so they go to the graveyard too, indeed.
Wow.
All right. But I think they sold their lives dearly.
Yeah. I mean, they killed 6 increments.
Yeah. Wow.
Twice their number.
Yeah.
That was bloody. Okay, and you are required to advance into the hex.
Right.
Maintaining your same
Is the entrenchment marker removed now, or?
You know, I don't know what the rule says. It probably won't ever matter again because I'm never going to have anybody in that hex again, probably.
Okay.
I don't think it's removed. I don't see anywhere in the rule where it says you do. It's probably just moot at this point.
Right.
So you move in and maintaining your same orientation. If you were not in an enemy zone of control, you could adjust your facing. But in this case, there is an enemy zone of control because of my
Right.
skirmishers are still there. And that's the end of that close combat.
Okay. And then are my leaders then flipped over?
Your leaders are flipped.
Yes.
But your unit can flip back to the other side. So,
Yeah.
there we go.
Oh, that guy. Okay.
Yeah.
Any leader that activated and moved can be.
Needs to be flipped over. That's right.
All right. Well, that was
So-
an exciting wing activation.
Well, that was kind of fun, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean,
We had a bayonet charge there.
I mean, I was counting on those entrenchments saving my bacon, and you thoughtfully decided to charge me right up the entrenchments. So I got my money's worth
You did.
for all
You
that
did.
for all that I had a unit vaporized in the process. But that was probably still an exchange I'd gladly make. And you had the opportunity to go through the whole close combat process, which is great.
No, that was very good.
You even got to see a couple of different looks at it because you got the retreat before combat on the skirmishers, but
Right.
then the full meal deal there against the entrenchments. So it's
Cool.
valuable life lessons there. Good for you. All right. let's see, where are we going now? Um, I
Maybe.
think that's the end of that activation. So whoever's turn it is to roll.
Probably me. I don't know that I've rolled yet. So
Okay,
here we
then it
go.
is probably you. All right.
Oh, a 20.
Uh-oh,
Is
another
that
special
another
result.
0? Oh, yeah. 2-0.
Uh-oh. All
So
right, so
another
that's
player picks one of
confusion.
your commands, which may be finished. I don't understand what
Okay,
that means.
initiative required. So you guys pick one of my commands, and um, and then that leader will roll 2 leader initiative rolls. If he fails both of the rolls, the command is marked as finished, done. If he
Okay.
passes one roll, he is activated with half movement points. And if he passes both rolls, he's activated without penalty.
Okay.
So it's kind of an interesting one because, I mean, it's kind of a little bit of a two-edged sword. You're effectively giving me an activation if I pass.
Right.
But obviously, you're also the potential that you're robbing me of an activation. So
Right.
it's an interesting one. You kind of have to game it out. Um, I mean, we usually play a friendly game here, so you guys are welcome to look at the loss chart and see who it is of my leaders are crappy and therefore likely to lose or miss both of those leader initiative rolls.
Well, I don't know that it makes that much sense other than picking somebody. Who do you think makes sense for us to try to potentially hamper, right?
Now, at at the end of this, are they
So if they
if they
fail their if
if
they
they
fail their initiative roll, then they can't. They only do
right,
half
they're marked
activation.
as finished,
Yeah.
but if but they're not marked as finished if they do if they get one half of it or
Oh no,
both
I think they're finished regardless.
finished regardless. Okay, yeah, that's yeah.
Do you have anybody up in your sector where that would make sense to do?
Don't know that it does make that much sense up there. Well, of course, I guess I am going to start moving my guys now during the movement phase. So actually,
Right.
yeah, there might be an argument that it would be in your interest to try to stall some of these guys. Why can I never find the chart I want?
So what are you thinking, David?
Uh, I'm actually not thinking anything yet. Keep looking for. I don't know.
There we go.
You got any ideas? Whatever.
Well, I mean, the
Let's
only thing could be
see.
that he's got. I mean, there's some guys down there in my part of the world. I don't think he can really counterattack me with anything, so I don't have anything per se that I'm terribly worried about.
I think the other thing I'd say is that nearly all of my guys are sixes.
Yeah.
And I think there's like one of them who's an 8. So probably picking him would be dumb. That's Woodford.
Yeah.
Oh, there's one other one.
Yeah.
The guy in charge of the New Jersey Brigade. Um, he's an 8 also. But I mean,
Right.
basically everybody else, you're at that point, it's just which one is most convenient to try to freeze him
Yeah.
in place.
Um. Try. I. This the brigade along the road there, that's heading away from you. Maybe slow him down a little bit.
The one that's there
You're
on the
talking about,
Nottingham Road?
Yeah.
yeah, and you'd probably want to pick the one at the front of the column.
That would be Whedon, right?
I think so, yes.
Yeah. He's got the
Second Virginia.
Yeah, so that makes as good a sense as any. So
Yeah. Yeah. So, all right. So then I will roll twice, and I believe he's a 6, just like all the rest of them are, right?
Yep.
Yes, he is. Okay. So I'll just roll twice for laughs. Here we go. That is 1 failed and that is one passed. So he gets half movement, and this will be his activation. And yeah, in that case, actually, that definitely played to you because um, he's going to be blocking the head of the column.
Right.
He would have definitely moved as part of a limited activation, full speed, this turn
Right.
otherwise. So those, all things held equal, it buys you a few hexes. Why the heck, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So now refreshing my memory because I'm on the Great Road, it's actually 3 hexes for
Yep.
every half, right?
Correct.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So that's half. That's 1. That's 1.5, and that's 2.
Correct.
We all agreed?
Yep.
All right. So I'll bring the rest of them up. And is that the end of him? Nope. Nope. That's the next hex is 2. And the next hex is the 1st Virginia. Okay, so I think that's it for them. I will just flip him over. He's now done. And there was obviously some, apparently some real confusion. When you were given orders to march along this road, that was apparently not clear.
You sure you want me to march on this road?
It's like, which way do you want me to march on the road? Do you want me to, I don't know.
Towards the sounds of the guns or away from the sounds of the gun?
Yeah, exactly. That's probably it. He probably he thought, wait a minute, this is wrong behavior. So, all right, well, very good. Well, that's actually a special event that actually had some meaning. So good for y'all. I think it's back to you, David.
Yep.
It's a
You turn
tie.
to roll. 56.
That's a tie and another end turn. We're not going to get a lot of movement this turn.
And that's 1 for us and no
One
enter.
Yep. So you go ahead and take that.
And let's see. Which one do I want to?
Now, this is an interesting point because, of course, I've been able to get most of my activations done, but I think it's safe to say that not all of my voluntary routed units would have been getting to move every turn. Unless they're allowed to move during a limited activation. Because it's entirely possible I wouldn't have gotten all of them before the end turn marker. I don't know.
Okay.
Here I am looking. I'm looking at the voluntary route rules.
Let's go. You can voluntary route during limited activation.
Oh, you can. Okay, so they would have been able to. All right.
Yeah, I believe it does specifically say that.
Yeah, I just found it.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to activate Agnew, the 4th Brigade.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
Or no, he's in range. I don't have to roll for him. He's in range.
Yeah, it should be.
Yeah.
Where's Cornwallis?
Right there.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah.
I-
Yep.
I-
No. Well, it's a good thing you don't have to roll since you rolled a 9.
All right. So let's see who I got there. We got the 4th. This is 4th. There. First. He's part of the 4th. 2 of them there. And then what? We got a bunch of. Hmm. All right, I'll take this first guy out here out of attack column.
Okay. That's
That's one. Two. Three. Three and a half. Two. Three. Four. Bring the artillery up behind. I'm gonna decide where I put him at the end here. There. And then this one here, here. Oh. Before I move him.
Well, you still have these chaps here, right?
Yeah, that's a three. Yeah, before I move the rogue column up there, I moved this chaps there.
Yeah.
So they got to go 1, 1.5, 2.5, 3.5. No, I guess I'll just keep them right there. So it doesn't matter. All right.
And then you did have that one out of command artillery unit. That's, I think, is part of the 4th.
Yeah, there's that guy in the.
No, they're
in the
part
rear.
of their third. They're part of the 3rd. And you moved the 4th.
Oh, there's one
right?
way back here though.
Oh, yeah, that guy way up there. Okay.
He's in road, so he can move 2. Oh, I have to roll for him, or
Where is he?
he's way back there on the Forks Road.
Well, no, you can't roll for him. He's not an independent unit. He's just out of command. So he gets half movement.
Okay. 1,
1,
2,
2,
3,
3,
4.
4.
1, 2, 3, 4.
See how clever he was not to move so fast that he overran the other ones? See how clever he was?
All right.
That's very clever.
I am done.
All right, Michael, it's your turn to throw the dice, I think.
Okay, chuck some dice. Oh my gosh, what is wrong with me? That's a 0-5, so that's a 5 for me, I think. That's free combat. Pick a command for fire combat or close combat segment. Initiative required. Well, I mean, that's kind of a no-brainer since I've only got one command that's in a position to do anything. So I guess it's going to be Maxwell and the light infantry.
Okay.
And I mean, it's initiative required, so I got to roll. That's certainly good enough. So that's a free fire combat or close combat. So obviously these are skirmishers. I'm going to take fire combat because why not? And I think I'm just going to try to pound both of them at this target just to maximize the potential there. So that's 11 increments total. And they're light infantry, so it's times 5, so it's 55. Somebody stop me when I'm wrong.
Stop.
Actually, it's worse than that because these guys here are firing into his flank. So they're actually at 6, not at 5.
Okay.
So it's 6 times 6, 36.
36.
5 times 5 plus, so it's 25. So it's 61 total.
Woo-hoo.
Actually, that's enough to move it into another.
That's going to be 3 to 1, right?
Another odds column. That's a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there is no size modifier because there's still 9 increments left. Although I'm going to try to fix that.
I'm sure you will.
I mean, I'm going to see what I can do. All right, so 3 to 1. It's basically what it is. We'll take our parting shots here. Here we go. Oh, big shot.
You've been doing good on your fire rolls.
Boy, I sure have. Yeah, I can't complain.
It looks like no, that's not defensive fire. It's regular fire.
No, it's regular fire, absolutely. So that's 2 increments. And notice it's M plus 10.
Right.
The idea there is that you have to, first of all, it was an 86, so it was an even number. So you do have to do a morale check, and the morale check's going to be with a plus 10 modifier.
Okay. Piece of cake.
Piece of cake. Oh no, that wasn't well. I mean, we'll see what it is. We'll see what it is. Morale check. It is a morale check that's based on fire combat result, and it's a 0-8.
So where am I looking at? Disorder special check results, or is it somewhere
Nope, it's a morale check special result because that's what this is. It's a morale check,
okay.
and it's the type of morale check is a fire combat result.
Type A.
And 0-8, and that is if the unit's stacked with a leader, the check is passed. He's not stacked with a leader, so instead re-roll with a plus 10 modifier.
Yeah. So does that mean it's a plus 20 modifier?
No,
Okay,
because whenever
whatever it was before.
Yeah, whenever it tells you one of those numbers, unless now there was the one where it says double whatever it was before.
Right.
But if it doesn't say that, then it just says
So
that's the number.
69.
Oh, okay, well then you're fine. Okay. All right. But I got another shot in there.
Yeah.
And that command isn't activated. That was free close combat.
So you get to do it a second time.
Yeah, I mean, when the unit activates, it'll be able to fire again.
Cool.
So that's potentially very nice. I think what marker were we putting on these guys to mark units that have done something special?
I don't remember. What do we got here?
We got all kinds of things.
I mean, I could put a tile marker on him, I guess. I could do that.
That'll work.
We put that little X on it. Yeah, we could.
X marks the spot.
Why not? I actually use those tile markers all the time when I'm playing. I have a bunch of different colored ones, and I use them for different meanings.
Yeah.
Oh,
They're actually very handy. And they're also nice because they also don't obscure what's going on under it, right? You can still see the unit or most of it. So, all right. Well, that was that for that special result. That was a whole lot of fun. Guess I'll go ahead and roll and see if we actually get something real to happen. Okay, that's an
you get
activation.
an activation for you.
That's an activation for me. What a deal. Um, those guys aren't going anywhere. Those guys aren't going anywhere. Those guys are on road columns, so there's no reason to do them. All right. So I'm just thinking about who needs to actually do stuff. I think I may activate the. Maybe I'll do the North Carolina Brigade. The guys in the white here.
Oh, up there by Dilworth.
Yeah. Because I'd like somebody to actually be ready to receive you guys when you come along, and so maybe it would be good if they were. So let's see. They're in road column right this minute, and yeah, of course, obviously they're. I mean, I'll roll to see if he's in command. It won't matter. He's not in command. Fine. Just means I can't rapid march. Doesn't really affect me much. And let's see. To get out of road column to go to march column at just one movement point plus any hex differences, but I don't think. Oh, the artillery is in multiple hexes, but the infantry aren't. So it's just going to be one for the infantry to go into march column. Okay, so if they do that, let's just try it. All right, so they're in march column now. And unfortunately, my guys are absolute shite for turning. So let's see if actually moving in line is actually a better idea for them. No, it's even worse. It would cost them 3 movement points to go into line facing north. That's a lot. On the other hand, what are you going to do? So, all right. So, what's the matter with me? Don't answer that. We ain't got time for that. All right. There's that's 4 movement points right there. Well, that didn't take long to get through 4 movement points, did it? Alrighty. What is that K-Tex marker doing here? Was that just me being a spaz? Or was there some...
I'm going to say yes.
Okay. I'm comfortable with being a spaz. I'm actually totally okay with that.
Was that marking one of the hexes for when they were talking about the for the road things or whatever? There's certain hexes. They kind of delineated the road hexes for you to interdict on.
I don't remember putting any markers out for that purpose, did we? Maybe we did.
I know I did myself when I was trying to figure out what the different routes were, but
Oh,
we did
well,
it on the
maybe.
map. Or it could be just something left over from who knows what. So,
Okay, well, I got to confess, not a clue.
if I can get rid of it.
Yeah, I feel pretty comfortable getting rid of it since I don't remember what it was there for. So, all right, now the artillery, it's going to cost them 2 movement points to get out of road column because they got to collapse into a single hex. So that's going to be 2 for those 2 to happen. And then another 2 will put them in limbered. And so I will just have them like unlimbered. I always get that one backwards, so nothing, no surprise there. So all right, so they're in the position that they should be. That's good. Uh, this unit is so wackadoo. I'm going to move that out of the way. Of course, obviously these guys are all facing the wrong direction. Let's do.
Oh, they weren't heading down the road to
Believe it or
Mater's
not,
West, right?
believe it or not, they were not doing that. Okay, so it's one movement point for them to be in March column, and then that's going to be 2 movement points there. And then that's going to be 3-4 movement points there. Okay. All right. So they're actually more or less looking like a military unit at this point instead of like whatever they looked like before. And then I will put the leader here for giggles, and we'll delete that unit. And that's it. We did it.
Dun, 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 dun. Eric.
All right, let's see if I can
Roll
roll some
away.
more ones or zeros here. Okay,
Yeah,
that's
it's-
one of us.
That's going to be the third, I guess.
Yeah, it's gonna be the third. It's really silly, but I mean, so these are all in road column here. One, two, three, four. So that's 1, 2, 3 into March. Shucks, let's go 4 into attack. Have any mark attack? Probably took all the attack column markers.
Oh, and weren't they a weird one?
You've got some
Yeah.
over here. Just
There's one.
clone.
Yep, there's one. I got
Yeah.
one. Wait, what's the guy here? He's it. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 2 to come out into road column. He's extended. So that's the end of his movements. 4. Let's just
I mean, you couldn't leave them in road column, right?
what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
I have to use all my movement points.
You got that one artillery that's back in the back.
Well, you don't get to keep them for the next turn. That's one of those important rules in wargaming. So you got to use them. Got to use them.
Use them or lose them.
And we got an artillery one, and he's only at half. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And
Those guys are not going to see any action in all likelihood. All right. Then do you flip your leader, or do you still have more stuff to do?
Um, yes, I will flip my. I'm debating whether to.
Or do you need to attack? I mean, as soon as these guys leave your Zoc, aren't they going to take a loss?
Yeah, it's not leaving, it's entering.
No, it's entering that costs.
Oh, okay.
So I
Right now, I'm just debating which way to. And thinking maybe actually, I'm I'm going to move that artillery instead of going east. I'm going to go at that crossroad instead. I'll go 6 hexes south here. So 1, 2, 3, 6. So I'll be next to this here. I think I'll go this direction instead. Think they'll get there faster in the long run. And then I've got to move. Okay, so I can flip over the commander of wherever I stuck him.
He's here.
Yep. So 1, 2, 3, 4.
So are you
Okay.
attacking then, or do you do your?
I may be attacking them.
Okay.
Yes.
But wouldn't you do that now, or?
Well, I'm doing that. I still got to finish my move.
Okay.
So I'm trying to figure out. So in there, and I want to move my officers forward here to see what's back. Yeah, he's not going to get very far. Okay. Move. Now. And Cornwallis will go. Where is he going to go?
You can put him over where
1,
Gray
2.
is practically.
Yeah, I was just.
And then you could move Gray forward a little bit, so that way, if this guy advances after combat, he'd still be in command, right?
Yeah. Actually, I might even put him in command of that. All right. And I'm going to do an assault on this square right there.
Well, can you pick, or do you have to assault both of them?
well, I mean, first of all,
that's true.
you don't specify who you're attacking at all until you've done your attacker morale check.
All right. So we'll do my attacker morale check. So
I think that's a pretty safe bet. I don't think we need to calculate that one too hard.
They're very motivated.
all right. Now,
Well, they've been marching since 4:30 this morning, probably, haven't they?
Something right. Now, do I have to assault both of them?
Well, remember, they're routed.
Yeah, I know, but and all you're going to be doing is making a morale check, and I may turn them into regular routed. It's about the only thing that's going to happen out of them.
Yeah, right, exactly. And so the truth is I think there's no reason for you not to want to attack them both.
Okay.
Right? I mean, I don't think there's any potential downside to you here.
No, I don't think so.
Other than they get to run away even more, but other than that, because they'll get their route move here, and then when they activate, they'll get their route move there, and then when they do the rally phase, they'll get an additional route move. So they're gonna, they're gonna be going a whole. They're gonna be running
Yeah,
as
who
far
knows?
away as you want them to
Who
go.
knows? I'm not sure what's southeast of here. Or wait a minute, I'm not sure. North isn't the top of the map, is it?
This is the top of the map,
Is
pretty
there
much.
compass rose?
Your retreat hexes are the one
Or to
east
the
of
east,
Dilworth
yeah.
and the one down at the Painter's Corner down at the
Yeah.
Painter's
No,
Corner.
I was about to make a joke about what's off the map to the southeast of here, because the Delaware River is probably back there
It's not
somewhere,
Ed
right?
Wimble's house.
No, it's not Ed Wimble's house. We know
I
that's
think
true.
you already retreated past it.
Facing you to Ed Wimble's house. That's right. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Next step.
Okay. So, a voluntarily routed unit that's attacked in close combat does a morale check B. If it fails, its status is changed to involuntary route, subject to the normal penalties. Passes the morale check, it retains its voluntary route status, does not lose an SP, but it must retreat the full number of hexes, 4 for infantry and limbered artillery, 6 for cavalry, subject to pursuit, if there was any cavalry here, and all of its ramifications. Okay. So yeah, I mean, there's no reason not to attack.
Right.
Them both.
I'll
So
attack them both. Yeah.
I will go ahead and just start with this guy for no particular reason whatsoever. It's a pre-close combat morale check, and he's going to have a plus 15, I guess, for being routed.
Well, there is none under the B for routed. That was the point. I mean, to me,
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, and that is problematic. And you're right, that doesn't make much sense because he's not shaken and disordered, so he doesn't get any negative there. I think we just got the plus 10 for being outflanked, right?
Yeah.
Because obviously you're attacking him in a flank because everything's a flank. So yeah, so plus 10, and you're right. Seems suspicious whether that really is the right way to handle this.
to me,
All
it'd
right,
be
whatever.
plus 25, but that's not what the rules say. So
And in this case, it wouldn't matter because they passed anyway. Okay, so that means he moves away. He remains voluntary routed and moves away 4.
Yep.
Okay. All right. There we go. And now we'll roll for the other ones. And plus 10, I expect he's probably still okay.
Yep.
Okay. So same thing. He moves away. All right. I think the only difference there is I think you can advance after combat. And if you choose to advance after combat into that clear hex to your southwest, then you're projecting a zone of control that's going to make it awkward for that guy. So I think that's what I would suggest. And I think that's it. Are you done?
yep.
Okay. Who's up for rolling?
I'll
think I-
roll just
all
for
right.
fun. Oh, another 5.
Good Lord.
We made up for the first 2 hours.
Yeah.
of No
Yeah.
specials.
No specials, exactly. But now we're getting them whether we want them or not. All right. A 5-0, so it's a British 5. Pick a command and perform a free disorder recovery phase and rally phase.
Well, for me,
You
that's
got
gonna
any
be
that
those
matter?
Hessians, right?
Yeah.
I got
go
some that
here.
are shaken, right? These guys that are
Yeah.
shaken. Yeah.
Yep. No, that makes sense.
Yep.
Now,
I don't have it.
you don't have anybody that needs it?
Yep. So go for
Okay.
it. Eric.
Okay. All right.
So-
we just-
Command. So you do a.
Do I have
Let's-
to? Do I have to make a morale check for my commander to see if he's
No, no,
just-
you don't.
Okay.
It's 6-2E, and so basically, if the units of command, the event still applies. This result is applicable once end turn. There's really nothing to it. It's basically do a disorder recovery segment, which
Okay.
you probably don't need, right?
No, I don't
And
have anyone disordered. It's just I need this
and
guy
then
shaken.
and then do a rally segment. And so for this guy, basically he just does a rally. He's got a +10 because he's shaken.
Okay.
So
Here we
just
go.
roll.
86.
Oh yeah. So he is unshaken without need for wait until the rally phase.
Okay.
Always nice to get an extra shot at that. Probably ought to put a tile marker on the Hessian leader.
Okay. I will grab one. Indicating he's had a special activation.
Exactly. All right. So roll again since you didn't get a real activation out of that.
86.
Okay.
All
That's
right.
going to advance us one more time. And you guys are out of activation, so it's probably an activation for me.
It's activation for you. I've activated everybody of mine.
All righty. So
And
let's
actually,
take
we
a
don't
look.
have a +1 anymore because
Yeah.
Ah, indeed you don't. In fact, I think I have a +1, don't I?
Yep. For Washington.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's take a look here. I think these units have gotten all scrambled up. So I'm struggling a little bit to figure out where everybody is. It's 3rd Pennsylvania. That's 4th Virginia also. Okay. All right. I will go ahead and do the 4th Virginia. Let's see. That's Scott, who's right here. And so I'll go ahead and activate him, and I'm just trying to find the rest of his units. He's got some here,
There's some
and
here.
he's got. Are those 4th also?
Some of those.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, they sure are. No, you're quite right. They are. Okay, and this artillery down here belongs to him, and I don't really know if that's everything or not. 4th Virginia is 1, 2. Patton and the 12th, that's up here. And then there's Gray and the 4th. So then the 8th Virginia is the only one that I'm not finding yet.
They're right here. They're the guys that just moved as a result of the route.
Oh, so they did. So they did. Very good. Thank you very much for that. Appreciate it. Okay, then I'm going to say that I'm going to go ahead and activate them. And of course, there's no reason to do disorder recovery. Of course, this guy's out of command. So the artillery is out of command, therefore only has 2 movement points. And so we're going to move out a road column. And they'll be in march column instead. And this guy, I will go ahead and move him 1, 2, 3, 4, we'll just leave him there. And these guys, I will elect not to move. And these guys will move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and take an increment loss. As soon as I can find that. There we go. Okay. And I think that's it for those guys. So we'll flip him over, and that's that. And who's next?
I think I
Is
am.
it me? Is it
Yeah.
you? Okay, sure.
Or I don't know. I'll do it. Whatever.
So,
It
so my
literally-
question is, why didn't you move this guy?
Because he would have taken increment losses.
How?
And because
couldn't he have moved there?
No, that's my unit. He would have had to move here basically.
No, this isn't your unit. That's
No,
one of
this
his
is mine.
units. Yeah, I know. Did you say it's exiting that causes it or entering that causes it?
Entering.
it's entering.
Right. So if he moved there, he's not entering any Zoc, is he?
That's not a valid direction. He has to retreat.
Oh,
That's the thing.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
you kind of need to be going southeast or east,
Right,
right?
right.
So to me, that's the reason.
Okay.
And the other reason is that because by the time the rally phase happens, that unit's not going to exist anymore.
Right.
Because I will have moved all the units south of row 48, or there will be no units north of row 48.
Right. Okay.
And so then that attack column won't exist anymore.
Right.
And so then I'll just run away during the rally phase.
Okay. Cool.
That was my cunning plan, such as it is.
There you go.
Okay. All right. So that's a wing activation for me, if I'm so inclined. Don't really know if I have any wings that are in a state to be able to be activated, but sure, whatever.
Did that
Let's see.
move things forward on the clock? Because that's more than 10.
Oh, yes, it would have. Thank you. I'm sorry. I don't know why I didn't notice that. I'm
I'll
usually
just
the one
advance
who
it.
picks that up. No, I got it. I
Oh, I
already
already
did.
did. Oh, I guess we both did. Okay.
Oh,
Should be in the 5
What?
marker.
yeah.
Should have gone
Okay.
from the 4 to the 5 marker.
Right. Okay. So there's 3rd Virginia there. I take it back. I don't think I am going to be able to get far enough. If I activate the 3rd Virginia, this artillery can only move 4, right?
Where are you?
Where are you at? Up in north or down south?
Oh, no, sorry. Artillery, voluntary route, limbered can move 1 to 8 hexes. So, never mind. It's all good. Sure, let's just do the 3rd Virginia. What difference does it make? So 3rd Virginia, there's one of them right there. And who else is there around? Other 3rd Virginia units.
These guys are 3rd Virginia.
No, I think that's 3rd Pennsylvania. Oh, no, you're right. It is 3rd Virginia. Well done. Yes, indeed. All right. So that's good. And then I think, actually, that's another one there.
Correct.
And that's another one there. So all good. All right. Well, then we'll go ahead and move them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's just call that good. And this guy's going to go 1, 2. Several things are going to happen in the course of this, but I'm just going to go ahead and walk it out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Whoops. 8, excuse me. So lots of things are happening there. One is he's going to lose an increment for going through his zone of control. The other thing is, since he's artillery going through non-friendly terrain, he's going to have to roll a lot of die rolls to see if he loses any more increments. Trying to let's see, where's my terrain effects chart to see which ones they are. Definitely the woods are.
Yeah, and then all the others look
Where's-
like they're.
I wasn't sure which slopes caused it.
Well, do they have to have a little asterisk next to it?
I don't know, because I'm digging through every piece of paper on my sofa.
So gentle slopes
Trying to
don't
find-
have an asterisk next to them. Regular slopes have
Fair
an
trade
asterisk.
for disorder checks, asterisk.
So it's just
All right.
the woods,
So
I think.
woods, villages,
2,
gray,
3, 4.
marsh, brambles.
All right. So then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 die rolls I need to make.
Well, and
looking
you've
for
crossed the stream. too.
0.
There's a stream here.
No. That's through the middle of a hex. That's a rill. It doesn't mean anything.
Oh, okay.
So, all right. So I did 5 times. So I'm
Yep.
just going to go ahead and roll. Looking for 0s and 1s would cause a step loss. No. 2. All right. So now he's down to 1 increment. All
So
right.
what is the role of the 5 for?
Oh, I needed to roll 5 times.
And it's 1 die. He was just doubling up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I could hit the single die roll button 5 times, but I didn't. Okay, I think that's it. I think everybody else is okay where they are. I think. Do I think? Sure. What the hell? We'll try it. I mean, I don't care. All right. Very good. So then, we'll do. I think it's my turn to roll.
Yep.
And that's a 3. We're going to be here all night. All right. So that's a British 3.
Right. So
Pick a
fire
command.
combat or CC segment.
Okay. Well, this may be the last chance to get some action going here. So yeah, that is 6-2 Delta. And 6-2 Delta. I apparently am just completely incapable of finding it. Okay. Player who rolled this result picks one of his command leaders who must pass an initiative roll to be eligible for the event. If he fails the roll, there's no penalty. If the leader passes the initiative roll, any eligible units of his command and eligible independent units will have either a fire combat or a close combat segment. Same combat type must be chosen for all eligible units. For a unit to be eligible to take advantage of this, it must not be disordered, must be within command range of the chosen leader. Furthermore, an independent unit has to be stacked with a combat unit or leader of the command. If the units involved have not yet been activated, they are still not considered so. If there are mixed stacks from multiple commands, only the units of the command chosen may engage in combat. If the command chosen is to initiate close combat, units of the command may advance 1 hex in order to engage in close combat. Any such advance is subject to op fire and op charge. Eligible stacked units must advance together. They may not advance one at a time to limit the effects of op fire. This result is applicable once the end turn has been reached with no end turn limitations or restrictions. So, you can't do it for the Hessians because the Hessians have already had a special event
Right.
on them. So, probably going to be the Guards, I would think. Because this is your last chance before you all disappear from the game.
Yeah. The other thing, do we want to?
I mean, I've got something that can shoot. I got a cannon that can shoot, but that's about it down south. Otherwise, if you think you can do something,
Well, the other thing, you might want to shoot those skirmishers, but get them off the flank of that other one. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, but they're independent units. How can
and
you?
they're not stacked
you
with,
can't-
and they're not
that's
stacked
right.
with somebody. So
Yeah.
I've got
And-
this. Oh, actually, this is Hessian artillery. It couldn't fire. So, and that's an independent unit. It can't fire. I don't have anything I can do.
So,
So, if you can do something, if you can either fire or do melee. I mean, you'd force these guys to make a morale check, I guess. Is that it?
Yeah,
And potentially become really routed as opposed to just involuntarily routed.
that's right.
Yeah.
well,
Or you can decline. I mean, obviously, either way. I think there's some merit to forcing these guys into rolling to see if they become involuntarily routed. And now, obviously, if you make them route, then they can run away from you and don't have to run southeast. So they may not take that many step losses as a result of it, but whatever.
Yeah, and if you shot at them, you wouldn't have a lot of firepower, but you might get lucky and hit something, right? Or is it
Boy, yeah,
impossible?
you'd have to be pretty lucky, I think.
Okay.
In fact, I don't think you can fire an attack column. I don't even think that's an option.
Well, you're
I
just
might be
firing,
wrong.
I think, with two.
it's like
Back-
Oh,
something.
that's right. That's right. We
Yeah.
looked this up.
Yeah, you only have
Previous
two
week.
SPs that can fire.
Yep.
yeah.
No, you're right.
Okay, so now this is initiative required, right?
Yeah.
Yes, it
We'll
is.
go
So
for
you'd
guards,
have
we'll
to
see if
roll.
we got initiative.
No.
No, we don't.
Nope.
It doesn't
Hell,
matter. White
after all
school.
that agony. Okay, never mind. Okay, well then I guess I'll roll again. Jeepers! All right, that's a British 7. Pick one command for a free movement segment only. Initiative required.
Well, what would be worthwhile for you to move a second time?
Well,
I mean, I could activate Grant. Would I be able to move both of those brigades that are under his command, or is that only during regular
Well,
activation?
It depends on which one you activate. Right, which one you want to try to do the special event with. So you could have Grant activate both of them together, or
Right.
you could
That
just
would be the
activate
idea.
one or the other. Yeah, exactly. So if you wanted to, you could,
Okay.
and then just and Grant is now far enough away that some people are going to be out of command. But
Well, Grant's
so what?
here, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So
So,
obviously this guy would still be out of command.
sure, but on the other hand, it's free movement, so
Yeah.
who cares?
Well,
No,
I still have to pass my
only-
initiative roll.
Yeah, and the only downside is that he's a 4.
Yeah.
So it's not there's some chance that that nothing's going to happen.
Can you
But
use
hey,
it for
free
something
movement.
better? Can you do something better with it?
I'm
David?
trying to, yeah, I'm calculating a little bit here, see if there's something I can do, but no, go ahead and take it. Yeah.
Okay. I will try to do
All
something
right.
clever with it.
We're
So
looking.
first I got to roll and see if Grant can do it. Here we go.
Yep.
Nope, he failed.
Oh, God, you guys. All right, here I am. I'm going to give you one more a try. Here we go. No, that's not one more try.
But that
Okay.
does
All
advance
right.
the clock to the
That's
end turn,
right.
right?
So
Yep.
we're in limited activation space at this point,
And that's
and
to you, Michael.
that's and of course that's activation to me. So at this point, although you can kind of see how even once we reach end turn, it's not like all bets are off, right? Some activations or some special events can actually cause things to still happen even here in the end turn. So it's tempting to just say, who cares? I'll just, do them in whatever order. And you kind of can, but it's not entirely scot-free. Nevertheless, I'm going to go ahead and let Maxwell and the skirmishers have another go.
Sure. So you've got
Because
it was a 3-1. Oh, but I've got a smaller target for you now.
yeah, it's definitely a 3-1 -5 at this point. So we'll go ahead and just do that. Of course, they can't move, so there's no reason to even worry about that. We'll just do the shooting, 3-1 -5. And another special result. That's an American 5. That means move the odds column 1 to the left and re-roll.
That's then becomes a
There's
2-1.
not a leader anywhere there, is there?
For me, not in that hex. I mean, there's a leader over here, but you're shooting at this hex, right?
Yeah, no, understood. So, leader lost table. Right. Well, no, actually, we do need to roll. Because if you look down below the special results, the leader lost table, you'll see that depending on what gets rolled, it might affect any enemy leader in range and line of sight of firing units or adjacent to the target hex. So
it's got a little asterisk on it.
Yeah, so the asterisk itself actually forces us to roll on the leader lost table. So I guess I will go ahead and roll on that, and we'll see which of those columns it applies to.
Okay. Oh, so you roll a second time, a 9. So that is braving enemy fire. Roll for each enemy unit in the target hex.
Okay, so it doesn't apply.
Hex. Okay.
Okay,
but if you
fine. But if
else, it could have gotten somebody who was adjacent, which
yes,
could have been that leader, or it could have been anybody on the field of battle. It looks like.
Well, anybody who was reachable, I think it would have to be adjacent to or within range and line of sight. So anyway, it probably would have been that guy.
Says 0. Pick any enemy leader. If you roll a 0.
Holy smokes, you're right. Any enemy leader. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I'm going to take out Hal.
So we do need to remember to mind for those. Okay. Now I'm going to we're going to be at, is it 2-1 or is there a 2.5-1 column?
It's 2.5.
2.5-1. There is one. All right. Yep. We're going to do this at -5.
Yep.
Holy smokes.
That's still a hit, probably.
Oh,
so that's
-5, that makes it 88.
Yep. So that's a 2 and an M plus again. Wow.
Yeah, but it's but it's a 93.
Oh, it's a 93.
The die roll was odd, so only the 2 increments hit. You don't take a morale check.
But it says I got a -15 because I'm in the village. Fire
what?
Defense. So the fire defense value is actually 30.
Hold on.
Or is it? Is it?
I don't know. What?
Yeah, because I'm in the village here.
Hold on.
So I just noticed that. I'm like, I'm in a village.
I don't think that's a village, though.
Well, what else are something with buildings?
Village Northeast 5806 is the exemplar.
So is it
Northeast
just buildings?
5806.
Oh, okay. So it's just buildings.
It's Dilworth.
Okay.
Otherwise,
All right.
I
Yeah.
I
So it's
think
just
most
other
of the
terrain. Okay. All right.
Yeah, yeah. See, they've got a little brown hash background behind the buildings.
Okay. All right. Well, there's not much left of those
right.
poor sods. Getting
Boy,
chased to
boy.
crap.
Oh, no kidding. I certainly got lucky getting 2 shots at you there before you absolutely run these guys over. I have no I have no illusions about that. Um, okay. Well, that's all they can do. So I'm gonna flip him over, and so that was the end of his activation. Who wants to roll?
I'll roll.
I mean, we're all definitely
Oh,
now.
here we got another 5-0.
Good Lord. That's a 5 British is a disorder recovery and rally phase. Is there anybody who needs one?
No.
You don't have anybody?
David, do you have anybody who needs to?
Not that I know of.
Okay.
All right, then Eric, just go ahead and roll again.
97.
Okay, that is
We'll
another
give it to you
activation.
because we can't do anything.
Exactly, right. Okay, good gracious me. All right, so we'll do the New Jersey Brigade. Some of them here, some here. Are the rest of them? I feel like I must be missing some. There should be. Oh no, there's only 2, and then the artillery. So actually, and the artillery's already vaporized, right?
I believe so. I think that's one of the dead.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And where did I say the other one was? Right there?
Right here.
Yep, there we go. You know what? I will go ahead and move him, even though it costs a strength point. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. God dang it! The map started scrolling away from me. Okay. There we go. All right, and I think we agreed that was all of them, right?
Correct. There were only 2 in that.
Okay. And where's the commander though?
Is that he's the commander's on here.
Well, that's weird. What's he doing stacked on top of something that's not one of his own units? That's weird. Oh, well. Okay. Well, I mean, I guess 2, 4, 6, 8. He'll just move here with these guys. I'm trying to make this look as much like a voluntary route as possible, I think is what I'm trying to say. And okay, well, I guess that's it. So he's flipped over. And that's it for that unit. All right, so who's rolling? Bound to be you, Eric, isn't it?
I've done enough damage.
Oh, have you? Okay.
Yeah,
Well, then
that's
David rolls. I don't know.
Yeah.
Somebody roll.
Where's my? There it is. Okay. Another one to
Oh.
you.
Okay. Amazingly enough. All right. Well, I guess we do the second Maryland, and I'm trying to find where are those guys. Let's see. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's actually quite a few of them. Where are they? Mm, there's that one there. Trying to figure out where the rest of them went.
Who is this?
DeBoer, second Maryland.
Second Maryland.
Were they guys that were routed?
Well,
Well, here's one of them.
right, but that's the only one I found. I'm trying to figure out where the rest of them went. Where in the world did they go? Because I'm looking at all these guys down this way. They're all from other units.
Who's the commander?
Actually, that's part of the problem too. I'm trying to figure out what are these guys even doing here?
Oh, he's attached to somebody else. He's part of Sullivan's command. And so he is, I think he's attached to one of the
Oh,
other guys.
you are right.
Yeah.
You are right. Let me find it here.
It would be in the scenario rules, probably.
You're right. That's where I'm looking right now. I'm just trying to find where is it? I feel like it should be telling me somewhere around here, because this is scenario 3 American setup,
Yep.
and I'm looking. Where's here? It is. It's associated with the New Jersey Brigade.
Okay.
Oh, so he should have been activated with that.
Yeah, he should have been. All right. So the trouble is if we're going to follow the rules we've been following, he goes there, and this is where we decide how rules lawyery are we? Because at this point, there are no American units north of Hex Row 48. First of all, are we all agreeing with that?
You've got ones on row 48, but
Yeah, but that's not what the rule says.
Yeah.
Once no American unit is north
of Hex Row 48.
Hex Row 48 exclusive, meaning not counting 48, but just north of it,
Units are removed from play.
all of the Guards Brigade, the 1st British Grenadier Battalion, and the 3 Hessian Grenadier Battalions, and then they name them. Now, I find it a little bit bizarre because it doesn't really say when this happens. At the end of the turn?
It says once no American units are north. So
and so at this point, and this is really bizarre because effectively what this does is it means that these British units would just vaporize.
Yep.
And this guy can just route right on.
And
this feels very odd to me.
It does feel very odd to me too, but
In fact, honestly, the entire just yanking these units out of the game strikes me as pretty odd.
Yeah.
But if we're going to take the rules as written, it seems like they should disappear now.
Yep. And I can't contest that.
Okay. Well, there you go. All right. So the guards disappears. The grenadiers disappear.
And the two other grenadiers over by the X marks the spot.
By the tile marker, yeah, right. They disappear too. But we know they were there at one point.
Yes. And you've got one that's up here by the Meeting House Road. Isn't that a part of the second grenadier? Do they stay or do they go? Or is it
No, it was just the first. Just the first that get
yeah.
removed. Yeah, it did specify that.
Yeah, and I purposely kept them separated based on that. So.
Okay, all right. So now 2, 3,
They're not.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's funny. I swear there were British Grenadiers there a minute ago, but they disappeared.
That's right.
All right. So that was actually part of the New Jersey activation.
Right.
So now I should probably go ahead and pick another one to activate, which I guess will be the 3rd Pennsylvania. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then I think this stack is also there. That's 2, 4, 6, 8. And I kind of thought there was somebody else, 3rd Pennsylvania. Did I actually keep those guys
over here?
Thank you. I thought there was somebody else. 2, 4, 6, and we'll just call that good. And all right, so I think that's it for the 3rd Pennsylvania. And I will flip over to leader as soon as I find him. Bloop. Okay, there we go. All right, I will roll the next activation. I think it's my turn. What do I know? Righty.
That's a wing
4th
activation.
Yeah, I don't really know. I don't really know what I'm going to do with that, so I'm not going to. So we'll do the 4th Virginia. Two, 4, 6, 8. And I think 4th Virginia, there was... thought there was another one around here.
I thought you already moved the 4th Virginia.
That was
Quite so.
Remember, they were
you
there
are,
and you left them there. Yeah.
You are exactly right. Where were they there?
That's about right. Yeah.
2, 4, 6, 8. Yes, that is where they were. Okay. Yes, I had elected not to move them, so they didn't lose their
a point.
Lose their strength points. Sorry.
Yeah.
pick a different one.
Well, flip the leader over so that way. Or I don't know if that's the same leader or not. That's Steven. He's probably with a different outfit.
Well, Steven's a wing leader.
Yeah.
So where is the actual leader?
Well, you've moved the 3rd, right? But you didn't flip that over.
No, have I moved the 3rd? Yes, I have moved the 3rd. Yes, you're right. So that leader should be flipped over, and where's the 4th is here, and he is already flipped over. So that's as it should be. Okay, so that's good. All right. All right. So maybe all the routed guys maybe have moved at this point.
I think so.
Yeah.
You're
Okay. All right. Very good. All right. And we've got then these guys on the road down here in the south. We got the 1st Virginia. So I could go ahead and do them. In fact, actually, this was a wing activation, so I guess I could just activate. Actually, there is only one other command there, though, isn't there? Yeah, the 1st Virginia is all by itself. All right, so I'll just march these guys down the road, following along with everybody else. Whee, but only going half speed because of the special result. Right. Right, and then we will flip the leader over. All right. And then, let's see. This point, I think I've just got these 2 commands here, right?
Yep.
That haven't already activated. Everything else should have gone one way or another.
I think so.
All right. All right.
So your disorder markers would be removed from that guy.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and do these fellas. You're right. That's a fine idea. So delete and delete. And I will go ahead and flip that leader marker over. And we will just chuck one more set of dice. I think I'm just +1, so that is still a valid one. And nothing for these guys. Flip. And now the only question is, do I feel like moving Washington at this point? And I probably will. I will just go ahead and screw it. I'll just leave him there. Who cares? He is enjoying the view from the Benjamin house as he watches the battle developing to the west. You know.
Right.
No big deal. All right. Well, then, have we gotten all the way to the end of all the activations?
I think so.
I believe so.
What a deal. All right. So now we'll roll dice to see who rallies first. Looks like I rally first. So what order do we need to do this in? Because this can start getting complicated because I'm going to start actually trying to bring some guys out of disorder or out of voluntary route.
Yep.
I'm trying to think. So I know the usual method is you do all the shaken units first, and then you do routed units.
Right.
But between routed and
Voluntary, I don't know if there's any. I would say it's your. Well, you don't have any regular routed units right now, so.
I don't. Right. So,
And I don't think you have any shaken, right?
I don't. Okay.
So you want to hit the little move marker and
that's not a bad idea. Yep. And that way we can just kind of deal with them one at a time. So I think probably the first thing to do is just deal with the ones that are moving first, like that one. Because clearly he's staying in voluntary route.
Right.
So then the question is, we should probably then deal with the ones here. Do I want to move these guys beyond the trees? I probably do. So I will move these guys here as part of their voluntary route movement. And that way they look like they're in an organized line. How do you like that? I mean, that's pretty freaking slick. I think you got to agree. That's 3rd Virginia. That's 3rd Virginia. That's 3rd Virginia. All right. So I'm going to run this one here. I'm going to go ahead and try to rally this one, see what happens. He is at.
Don't you have to do? Don't you do that before you move him?
I didn't move that one.
Oh, there was this guy because excuse me.
I
thought it
moved
was-
this one. I'm rallying
gotcha,
this one.
Gotcha.
So he's at a plus 15 for being routed, I guess, right?
Yeah.
And then, all right. Well, I guess he's not routed anymore. So now he is shaken and disordered, and has to adopt facing. And so I'm going to delete that. I probably didn't have to delete that, but there we go. And I will face him this way. And then we'll do the one next to him. Same thing. Plus 15 minus something because there's a leader on top of him. Whoops, that ain't going to be enough. I mean, not unless those are some amazing leaders. Let's take a look. No.
Yeah.
No, they're not that amazing. All right, so now we go on to actual routed. So I'm going to take the route marker off, as contrary-wise as that might seem. And because those leaders were with him, they're going to have to stay with him for this route retreat. And he retreats 4. And then we'll try this one as well. So he's at a total of plus 9 because of the leader. All right, so he's okay. And we'll go ahead and turn him around this way and make him shaken and disordered, and take the rally disordered routed marker off of him. He's not routed anymore. Okay. And then this 4th Virginia unit will do. God dang. 4th Virginia unit here will do the same thing. He's at plus 11. And they are what?
28. So
28, so plus
39.
11, so that's good enough. All right. So we will turn them round and take the routed marker off of them. And
You have to. You have to
hold
roll
on,
individually.
hold on. Well, not only did I need to roll individually, but the guy on the top would have failed because he's half dead. So he would be, I don't know what number he'd be, but he only needed another plus 5 to put him outside of that. So he's going to route away.
He was only a 2 and now a 1.
Yeah. And then we'll roll for this one. He's okay. And so we will flip him back over. and mark him as... Do I have a shaken disordered marker there yet? No, I guess I must have taken it away. Okay. All right. And then we'll try to recover this one here. There is no special result for rally attempts.
Okay.
So
It's one of the few times that there's no special results.
Yeah, I know it's one of those times that you kind of have to remind yourself of the exception.
Right. So he's going to fail with a roll of a 2.
So he fails 1, 2, 3, 4.
Does he lose an increment?
Oh gosh, I don't know. Let's take a look at those. Need to make sure we understand what the rules are there.
Why would he lose an increment, David?
As if they don't roll at least their
their number?
effectiveness. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if that applies to this. It might. I don't know. We'll take a look.
So if he'd rolled a 30,
He wouldn't
he would
lose.
have failed, but he wouldn't have necessarily taken
Yes.
a loss as well.
Yes, exactly.
Let's see. It doesn't say anything about.
For continuation of voluntary route, the unit does not undergo morale check. The unit may decline to perform morale check I for a voluntary routed unit. Per continuation, the unit does not undergo morale check I. No additional SPs are lost. If a voluntary route unit undergoes rally morale check I and fails, it suffers the normal effect of failing a morale check, and its status is changed from voluntary route to routed. Morale check I. And morale check I is rally attempt and
A routed unit
routed
may
units
SPs
may lose
to-
SPs. Yeah, okay. All right, so help me out. So we're saying this one loses an SP.
Yeah.
I think that's what we just said.
Yeah, the one who just did the 0-2.
Right. Okay. All right. And then this one needs to rally. And he does. And so right. Okay. Have I dealt with everybody?
Yep. They've
I
either
don't.
Well, you haven't done any of these down here, have you?
Yeah, because those guys have moved.
No. These guys all moved.
Okay.
The New Jersey Brigade along that road have all
All right.
moved.
Right.
Okay. All right. What about
So,
that one? I don't see a
that
move down
guy
here.
hasn't moved, so that's an interesting point. I could go ahead and where's the rest of his compatriots? Where are the rest of it?
And this one doesn't have a move down it.
Well, they're also part of the 3rd Pennsylvania.
Oh yeah, they are.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess I will. Okay, what is that guy doing there? All right. Well, I will attempt to rally this one over here.
All right, so there's two of them in there.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. There's two of them over there, and um, just trying to make sure I've got everything organized here. I'm going to move these guys and then try to rally these up here. So we'll do the top one here. And then we'll do the bottom one. And I expect those are probably both 28s like everybody else is, right? Yep, so that's good enough for both of them. Okay, and we will rotate them around. Okay, and so now has everybody been dealt with? They've either run away.
Are these guys marked shaken? Oh, I see. You put the marker on. They didn't show up. Okay, cool.
Yeah, strictly speaking, I probably didn't need to have two route markers on there because if somebody's routed, everybody's routed.
Right.
So really you should only need one organizational marker on top of a stack. So I think all those guys have either moved or not moved or attempted to rally or succeeded in rallying or whatever.
Yes.
I think everybody has been dealt with. I guess that's probably what matters here. Okay. Now, do you guys have any shaken units anywhere?
Not
I don't think you
currently.
do. So I don't think, and you certainly don't have any routed guys. So I think you're okay.
Correct.
And I think, even though I really questioned whether we were actually going to get through a turn at the rate we were going, I think we can hit the end turn marker and flip all the units.
Remove our little extra X's. And
Yeah, remove those little tile markers that we don't really need anymore. And I think we've done it, gentlemen.
Hooray.
All right.
saving a copy. It's a little later than usual, but we did make it.
Yeah. This took a little while. So we're going to 640 and putting the end turn marker in place. And I'm going to do a save as.
Also do on
640. All right. This has been a weird battle, gentlemen. But
It has been.
I mean, at least Eric and the Hessians are making an honest battle out of this instead of this goofiness that David and I are engaged in on the north side.
Well, and there's a lot fewer Hessians to pay now, thanks to all your sharpshooters. So.
That's the Chancellor of the Exchequer will thank you for that.
Exactly. He's like, thank you for eliminating some of those mercenaries. We don't have to pay them
Yeah.
to feed them. So
Because I mean, you don't have to pay them, you don't have to feed them, you probably don't have any sort of pension arrangement with their widows.
Nope.
So yeah, that's a win all the way around for you guys.
There you go.
All right, and it makes us feel better because we've chewed up some of you scurvy dog Hessians.
There you go.
So
There you go.
totally down with that. All right, campers. Well, happy New Year to all.
Happy New Year to all of you too.
And
We should be
Thanks,
on
Dave.
for next week, same time, same channel.
uh,
as far as I know, I am.
yeah, I think so. I think I actually fly out the following Monday morning, but that shouldn't be a problem.
Okay. Well,
So
so David,
we'll
as
see
long
you
as,
same
as
bad
long as the
time.
water doesn't rise,
Yeah.